Okay. Um. First of all, good day, everyone. How's everyone doing? Um. Yeah, Monaco. Max Verstappen takes the win. You know. Very. I won't say. Well, there's a few overtakes. As expected. But I guess what makes Monaco interesting is the off-track activities that come with it, But yeah, regardless, we still have a few events, which occurred. You know, we'll start with Red Bull. First of all, what's his name again? Verstappen taking the win. Unfortunately, no points for Checo today. No fastest lap, not any. Um, Credit to Alonso and Ocon. You know, it's quite funny. No red flag. Even yellow flags. Like when the rain started falling, I was expecting that there'll be at least, yeah, this is the time that at least we're going to see one safety car. But it's like everybody these days, it's like everybody's head is straight. Which in a way I kind of don't like it because sometimes I look forward to those safety car and red flags. But I guess everyone is thinking about budget cap when they are driving. But yeah, credit to Alpine, their first podium of the season and their 50th race as Alpine. For those of us that know them as Renault and um what's their former name again? They have one other name. But yeah. Um Credit to Ocon. Impressive drive for Ocon. You know, I, at least we saw how the Ferraris ended up. I don't think I myself I don't even know what to even say. Because now it's still the same similar issue. So probably maybe when what's the name of that man, Lauren Mickey's leaves, then maybe we'll see some dynamic shifts because I don't even they've changed the strategists. Where is the problem coming from? Like, why is everybody in the pit and they thought that, they um what do you call it? They thought that they'll be able to carry on the mediums. I don't understand what they are thinking sometimes. Ferrari, I don't understand whether it's a translation or a communication issue. I don't know between Italian and English. I don't understand, but all these errors are too much. And it's very disappointing for Charles Leclerc. How many times this is fourth or fifth time in Monaco, no podium, no champagne. Which is very unfortunate because at least you would have wanted to do cheers with some Monogese people, but unfortunately, he doesn't have. He didn't get the privilege today to do that. Mercedes. Well, Mercedes Hamilton with the fastest lap. Um, I believe we can see with this new car, there's been improvements. Lewis did not at any point in time, from my own understanding and what I so he didn't at any time moan. As he has been moaning since last year. We need to save the engine, all those many. He didn't moan. He didn't do any of that today, which shows he's a bit comfortable in the car. Um, Credit to them because it seems they are now heading in the right path. But as everyone has said, we will know by this time next week if progress has really been made within the Mercedes team. But yeah, on the other hand, George Russell, George. Personally, I don't know what George was thinking. I don't know where he thought that you could get 5 seconds. Maybe there's no DRS. Where do you want to? How do you? How do you? Like, I've never. What is George even thinking in his head? First of all, so big. I don't understand. So 7-time champion is not done recovering from COVID. Man that has the fastest lap. You say, oh, that let's swap place. And I'm in a way, I'm kind of glad Mercedes did not give him that listen to him, because we all saw the lap times. Lewis was quicker than George. So I don't know what George was thinking, but maybe it's in the heat of the moment. For him, he was saying P3 is possible. In the interview, he said, oh, he made a mistake. Well, if you make mistake, P3 is not possible again. So yeah, fair play to McLaren, both cars finishing in the points, which is good. And last but not the least from me, De Vries, um, a guy that we have cooked, staked, and be grilled. Finally finishing in Monaco. In Monaco, I predicted yesterday that he's going to be the cause of the safety car, but this weekend I've been wrong in all angles, which I'm glad. But yeah, let's move on to the rest of the house, and then yeah, okay, guys, please raise up your hands, and then we'll just go on from there. So yeah, we'll start with the top 4 teams. So oh yeah, sorry, quickly, I didn't talk about Stroll. Um, well, we spoke about Stroll here yesterday. I don't think there's anything I don't think there's anything much to say. But today I did see some zeal and passion, but I just felt that you would have showed that zeal and passion yesterday when you were qualifying P. Where did you qualify P? When it was in Q, when it didn't leave Q1, because um, he tried some moves that were not possible, especially in this kind of circuit. But yeah, unfortunately, he didn't finish. So it is what it is. Lesson teacher is not doing his work, but that's a story for later. Okay, let's have Miss Cat Rock. Then we'll have Abdul Ridwan. Then Enobong.
Um, the winner was who we expected the winner to be, being that it was Monaco. He actually drove well. Um, I am actually quietly pleased with the progress that Mercedes is making with the car. It's definitely not where we need it to be, but it seems to be going in the right direction. I was disappointed with George Russell demands for um, being able to swap places, but I don't even really blame him. I blame Mercedes because he's been up to these shenanigans for a long time, and nobody has said to him it's unacceptable behavior or told him off. So he thinks that it's his entitlement that he can call the shots as to whatever needs to happen, and it's always beneficial to him. I just feel like he really has shown consistently he's not a team player, and he's always looking to see how can I get these extra points, and sometimes it's at the expense of the team, because the man that was putting down the fastest lap consistently for lap upon lap upon lap, why am I swapping with you? You're not even doing the fastest lap, so like how does that even make sense? It's like you slyly just want to have an opportunity to get more points without working for the more points. And you're saying, oh, I could have come third, but for the fact that you made a mistake. But if you made a mistake, you couldn't have come third. And it was such a silly mistake as well. So what are you talking about? In a race, we're not talking about coulda, shoulda, woulda. You didn't do well because for whatever reason or loss of concentration, you ended up off the road and then had to scramble to get back into the spot. So, and then when you came out, it was unsafe. You got a penalty, and then you want Lewis to give up his spot to mitigate your penalty. Meanwhile, back in Hungary, when people was asking you to let Lewis by, you refused, and that wasn't the only time. You're never one to listen to team orders. So the cheek of you thinking that you could ask for team orders, he's full of shit and he's out of order. I did feel a little bit sorry for Charles. I really wanted him to come a little bit higher, but today was definitely not Ferrari's day for sure. And Perez, like, how are you relegated in the middle of a race to being a test driver? You're out there just testing tires. Like, are they even gonna renew this contract? Cause what the hell? Anyway, that's me for now.
I hope Perez has a clause in his contract just in case that like a clause like Ricardo, so that in case they want to sack him, they will pay him off. Because if he does not have that one, it's wahala. There's no seat. This one is not music chairs. But yeah, okay. Moving on. Let's have sorry, I believe it was Abdul that read one. So yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Another good day's work. Another simply lovely Sunday for Red Bull Racing and Max Verstappen. 39 wins and counting. Top of the championship. Stayed calm head in whatever changing conditions. Dry, wet, drying. He was P1 all through. Made the right call, and at the right moment to switch over to Inters, and yeah, it was another good day. Converted pole into victory, and we move on to the next race. And let's not, I just want to add that let's not allow the excitement of yesterday's quali and the fact that the rain spiced things up today to have people think that Monaco is a good track. The track is absolutely horrendous, and in my opinion, it should be binned from the Formula One calendar. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Abdul. Huh. I don't know whether it's to say you are so humble. Which your driver won now. Okay.
I'm humble now. I'm humble. You see, when you are winning to a point, you don't need to. When the win is expected and it has turned to routine, you don't need to be bragging and be dragging with people. Just as Max says, you just need to be calm and humble because you know it's coming. It's inevitable.
Okay. My prayer for you guys is let your cup continue to overflow. No problem. Read one, please go ahead.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Today's race was quite amazing. Actually, I watched it at a very amazing place also. So the place was good. So I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the race a little bit, but to be honest, with what Abdul said, seriously, like Monaco should leave the calendar, and like I like Monaco should just leave because it's just today's race was just it feels like testing to me. Like they are just testing the car. That was just like there was no race at all. There was no passing. Just everybody was just chaotic, just eating themselves. Like I just don't like even today's race was admirable. So I'm like, but as for Max, he did what he had to do on Sunday. He just had to win, and he did that, and that's very good for him. Most wins for Red Bull, and except more, 39 wins now, and like even before the season ends, he might be behind Hamilton and Schumacher at his age. Do you know how crazy is that? At his age, I think he's just 25 or 24, I'm not even sure. At his age, he will be behind Hamilton and Schumacher. So like that's just impressive and a very good driver. His son is scoring driver, not any time trial driver because Formula One is no time trial sport at all. So like, and that's very good for him. So to the other side of our garage, Checo, my own thought is just that we move on to Sunday, to after I said Sunday, to next week to Spain. So that's just it. Today's race is not good. It's not even about today's race. Today, this weekend is not. Checo was not Checo this weekend at all. It's something else. It was something else. So, but next weekend, I hope he'll be able to bring himself back. And with what others said, like what admin said that he needs contract, everything. I don't think because of just one race, Red Bull will want him out. I don't think so. No, if they bring good points to the team, so I don't think they want him out like that. But that this weekend it was disastrous. But it's Checo to and he knows he himself knows that this weekend was bad. So on to Spain. For the other team, after Martin, they did what they had to do. They, what's their name? They did a very strange strategy that I was not expecting at all. Like, I was not expecting Alonso to start on the hard tire. Like, I wasn't expecting, like, it's very strange. And that kind of, like, because, fine, it is Monaco. You don't even know, you can't pass. And even with the, like, just today's race is just marked brilliancy because for him to be able for that medium to be able to last that time like almost like 50 laps. I don't understand how he did it, to be honest. I don't just get it because others that were on the mediums it dropped off quite quickly. Even the hard tire runners even complained about it and Mark complained and it came back again. But what I just feel about these Pirelli tires is that maybe when it drops off, it comes back to life again. So because even the hard tire runners too were not even complaining again about any graining or something like that. They just have to leave it. And they did well for Lance, but Alonso also did well. For Lance Stroll, we should forget about this weekend and he needs to pick himself up like he said yesterday. And for Mercedes, to be honest, like they did absolutely well this weekend. Like that performance, I was not expecting it. To be honest, I was not expecting it, but I think that you see, you let's see the true pace of that car on next week. So that's just it about Mercedes. And for me, like I know everyone is talking about George. Fine, I've talked about George today, but I just feel like today, today I was like, let me just I understand what George was saying. To be honest, I understand what he's saying, but it's, what he says is not correct. We understand what he's saying because fine, he wants them to like what he says is just not correct. We understand, and so that's just too funny. And for our opinion, also they did well, but they did well also. Gasly are not scored points. I think that's better for them. But that Ferrari, that's where I want to talk. The Ferrari, the thing is that that Ferrari car has a very major problem. And like we are still in race 6. At the start of the season, Imadi said Ferrari, I think Imadi still on that Ferrari concept is the best concept on the grid. For me, that concept, I think the concept is good, but the Ferrari car is not is not good at all. This same thing happened at Monaco last year. If you like people just remember last year's Monaco as for Ferrari as like strategy calls. That's what happened to them. That's not what happened to them. When the Ferrari is on the intermediate tires, I don't think they are that quick like they are on dry tires. Even today it shows like they are not even that quick today at all. Just last year that's what happened. This year also the same thing. They are not that quick. And even Charles, I think he said it after the race that when they are in traffic, that they are not that quick. So I don't understand that kind of car. So their car is the problem, not it. Fine, the strategy they made some ridiculous calls today. So, but that car is their major problem. So that's it. And for McLaren, also they scored points today. I think that's pretty much all about Monaco, but I think Monaco needs to leave the calendar. So that is for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Redwan. At least thank God today, not to congratulate people, but yeah, thank you very much, Redwan. Okay, let's hear our co-host Enobang.
Hi everyone. Pretty interesting race today. We were talking about how Monaco was going to be a procession, but the racing gods gave us a little bit of rain, so spice things up a bit. I still don't like Monaco too, but yeah, Red Bull. I think we expected Max to win. I mean, for the first time in my life, and I hate to say it, I prayed that Max Verstappen wins. Won today's race because I just did not want to see Alonso. I didn't want him to give Alonso any chance to win the race. So I'm disgusted by it, but I prayed that Red Bull wins. The race today. So yeah, I don't think we expected anything different there. For a second, when Alonso came into the, I actually thought that he had a chance to go for the lead, but I don't know what Aston Martin did there by changing his tires to mediums, I think, instead of intermediates. Yeah. Anyway, Perez, I think is pretty unfortunate. I just think he had a really bad day. In terms of, I know, admin, you mentioned something about his contract. I don't. I think that Perez is probably the best teammate that Max Verstappen could have. At this point, when I look at the grid and even the reserve drivers, I think that Perez is the only person who would more or less agree to Red Bull's terms and to some extent, put up a good fight, on a good day. So I don't see him leaving that seat, but who knows? It's Red Bull. Um, with Aston Martin, of course, Alonso is in the car, as expected to. Unfortunately for Stroll, I don't know what happened there, but I mean, we already discussed Stroll extensively, so there's no need to bother about that. Mercedes, we had a really good race today. P4, P5. I think was probably the. I think that if we were not in Monaco, Lewis would have ended up on the podium. But yeah, but this is Monaco. Overtaking is difficult, so I think this is the best that we could have done. For George Russell, I find it laughable more than anything. I really don't spare George, too many thoughts. I just find it really laughable. I mean, I've said it before that I like that he's decisive. He knows what he wants, but and I've defended him in the past, to be honest. But today, I was like, what the hell? I mean, at first, I understood what he was saying, but I felt that once his race engineer told him that Leclerc was what 8 seconds, 7 seconds, I think 7 or 8 seconds behind, that should have settled the matter. So I don't know what he was still going on about, but I mean it's unfortunate. I just find him laughable. I pay him no mind at this point, and I think the team does something the same thing because I don't remember Bono bringing it up to Lewis, or having that conversation with him. I don't think anyone would have. But yeah, Ocon, I'm so excited. I'm happy for him. Really good race today. Good points for Alpine. For Ferrari, I really don't know what happened there. Um, I mean, it's unfortunate with Ferrari, right? So 1 week is the car, the next week is the drivers, the next week is the strategy team. There's just something that goes on, with the Ferrari, and it's unfortunate because last season and even this beginning of this season, I actually thought that they would be the team to bring the fight to Red Bull. So it's pretty unfortunate that week in week out something just happens and ruins their race. But yeah, I guess that's all for the top four for now. Maybe I'll get a chance to speak about other teams later. Okay, so maybe we can hear from Sharon, I guess.
Hi guys. So quick one. Um, I think we are at a point where we can all agree that we don't enjoy the race in Monaco, but we should also understand that it's not going anywhere. It's still going to be on the calendar because it's basically F1's cash cow. They make money. F1 has moved from a point where it's all about the sporting part of the whole sport to more of making money. So it's not going to go anywhere. We are going to be stuck with it for a while because they make money. They make like mad money from that race. So they are going to keep it on the calendar for as long as they can. So we should get used to it. We should just get used to it and then enjoy the rest of the 22 or so races that come with the calendar. Um, I also think that Ferrari Ferrari fans at this point of the season should like just put it at the back of their minds that their season is done. Because Ferrari has always been Ferrari and will always be Ferrari. Even when they have the fastest car, they are always making mistakes. Either the drivers or the team themselves. Like they sabotage themselves. I don't know why. And it's just sad. But then it's Ferrari. They've been in the sport for like 70 years, so nobody cares about them. They're going to get their bonus at the end of the year. They'll come back next year, make noise, tell us that they have a car, they are going to be competitive. After 5 races, they are done. That's Ferrari. Let's just like start getting used to that idea. But what I want to talk about is um Hamilton and then the Russell incident, because we I don't mind that Russell wants to make certain decisions on track. Like, I want to do this. I want us to try this. I don't mind that because, yeah, when Lewis leaves, he's going to be like the it guy for the team. So he wants to start doing it so that he can get used to it by the time that happens. But if you want to be the it guy now, if you want to show us that you are the it guy, you need to do it on track. If you think you're better than Lewis, you need to pass him on track. Like, do it on track and let us see that yes, you have done it on track. Yes, last season he finished ahead of Lewis, but if you look at some of the instances where he finished ahead of Lewis or he got a podium, they were all they were safety cars where Lewis was at a disadvantage most of the time. So George capitalized on it, but he didn't really beat him on track like proper wheel to wheel racing. No. So I think if he really wants to show us that he's God or whatever, he needs to do it on track and stop bitching about it because I'm so fed up. I've never liked George and I never will. But I think I can respect him for trying to be more like Lois, be more decisive when it comes to certain things. But he also needs to learn. Like he really needs to learn and know how to go about it because never has there been a case where Lewis says, "Okay, I want you to let me pass my teammates because I'm fighting for fourth." No, there has been one instance. I was hungry in 2017, and he gave the position back to Valtteri. So he shouldn't be doing that. Like the team allows him because I don't know why, but the team encourages him to do that. That's why he's doing it. Because if the team should say that, look, that is not how we do business. So if you want to pass your teammates, pass him on track. Or the only way we can let your teammates allow you to pass is when you're fighting for a race win, or you're fighting for a championship, not when you're fighting for P4, or you're trying to evade your penalty or something. Like they need to sit him down and let him know that that is not how it works. You don't just get on the radio and moan about um telling your teammate to let you pass, blah blah blah. It's getting tiring, to be honest. It's really getting tiring. But well, I think all in all the race was what it was. Yeah. So that's it for now.
Okay. Thank you, Sharon. So I guess we'll hear from Tuyib, then Quicksilver, then Samo. Tuyib.
Hi guys. Um, this race was really good in its own way, but still, in a way, to me, even with the how will I say, it? Even with the rain and the weather and things like that, to me, that race was still boring because the only thing we're counting on was uh, Red Bull should make a blunder with the strategy, or Aston Martin should make a blunder with the strategy. Those were the only things we're counting on, or someone should like go off track like the way Science did. Those were the only things we're counting on to make the race interesting, which is what me I really call racing. You understand? So to me, in a way, that race was boring, but it was good in its own way, in the sense that everyone was at the edge of their seat. Okay, who was going to pull the plug first between Fernando and Max. So it made the stuff like really interesting watching those two. Like, okay, let's see what they can do. And Max really showed like what he's really good at doing, which means he's not only good at racecraft, he's also good at managing the tires. He went as long as um, Fernando went on the hard tires, which was I think around 48 or 50 laps on the medium when they were expecting like 35 on the mediums. That was some like good tire management, and kudos to the Red Bull strategy team also for making the right decision, and kudos to Max too for managing like the tire very well, because not even though he has a rocket ship, not all drivers can manage their tires well, even with a very fast car. So managing that tire for that long was the really good stuff that made like the pit stop easier, and the strategy even more in a way straightforward, although not too straightforward because the weather just kept changing and things like that. So, and in terms of Perez, I don't even really know what to say about that aspect though. But yeah, it tried his best, but like we said, is Monaco, so it's really hard to overtake. So I don't really blame him. But obviously, it just shows that anyone can win. You can't just start calling someone king of the street. King of the street that they're using to just kept. It was the tire tester for Max today. I want to go on wet, okay? Said yo, come and try it and things like that. So, but also Fernando Alonso, I just think that he really tried. I'm looking at the fact that Aston Martin is just like we just started seeing like how good Aston Martin is, but even though still, I just feel like we're at Monaco where overtaking is very hard and everyone is on neutral level. But can they keep maintaining that pace? Can they? Because if they can keep maintaining that pace, it's a really good thing for them. Because we've seen things like that. See, as when us came, I think they took fifth in their first season. So can Aston Martin really maintain this pace like they are on right now? Because today uh, them taking second was like how would I say it was like a normal thing now. All they need right now is to like take the next step and go like start fighting for wins and things like that. Um, Also in terms of Ferrari, that team is I don't know, it's something because it just they keep making simple mistakes, but I won't really blame them though, based on the way the weather was changing and things like that. But they keep like making like silly mistakes. But you know, They need to get on top of those things that cost them like easy points and easy podiums. They really need to get on top of those things. Um, Also in terms of Esteban Ocon, he really drove well today, and that was like some good drive. But all I can say is just like what I said about Aston Martin, can they maintain that? How will I say that pace? Like, can they maintain that run? That okay? Let's be fighting for fourth because
So, if,
all their results. Yeah,
what do you think?
I don't think they can maintain that form because even if we look at it, is that like we said yesterday, Monaco is like a neutral track, and Safna is very hard to believe that guy anytime he says something. And if we look at their stats, they've not gotten in like any good position apart from Monaco. It's mostly eight, nine, and things like that. So I think until Spain, before I can really say okay, they are they are really worth like they are really worth fighting for fourth. Until then, I can't really say much because the third might just be a one-time stuff, and when we get to Spain, it will be like blanks again. So also in terms of Mercedes, they really tried. They played their strategy well, and Lewis really like tried a lot. And um in terms of what some guys were saying about what George did, in a way, I understood where he was coming from, but obviously looking at that gap he had to Leclerc, you didn't need to be asking for that for those type of things. Like it's insulting in a way. But obviously as a racing driver, I don't really how will I say as at that point things there are some things they say that, you know, they are thinking about okay, how do I get like maximum point? So which is where I think it was coming from, but obviously I don't really blame him, but obviously he's not meant to be asking those type of things when you're already like beating Leclerc by like 6, 7 seconds, which covers your like penalty. And you're asking Lewis to compromise his own race for you. Like, have you ever compromised a race for Lewis before? You know, it needs to be trade by barter. We need to, how will I say it? It needs to be, how will I say it? Mutual, that kind of stuff. So, also in terms of Lance Stroll, that one was just driving like as if he was driving a truck, like as if no one was there, just barging into everyone. But I don't think it deserves that seat though. I think there are better like other like drivers that can take that Aston Martin way like further than Stroll is taking that Aston Martin. Although I like the guy, I like his zeal and things like that. I think the only time I've really seen like what Stroll did was that during 2020 season when they had like that pink Mercedes. Those were the only times I've really seen like Stroll stuff. But this year, even with the good car, just see now Mercedes is just 1 point behind Aston Martin in the constructors, and which wouldn't have been if Stroll is always like, okay, Alonso is third, okay, fifth. Alonso is third, okay. Stroll is sixth. That is still good. We still, how would I say, maintain some gap to Mercedes. But obviously, the guy is qualifying 14th. Like they can't maximize like the potential of the car to like get higher in the constructors championship. So, and I think that's it basically. Thank you guys. That's it.
Thank you, Tori.
So, Admin, I just wanted to mention, I don't mean to be a hater, but the Mercedes fan and Red Bull hater in me feels the need to mention that we've seen medium tires last longer than 43, 47 laps in Monaco. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Please go ahead, Silva.
Hi everyone. Uh, I wasn't able to join the post quali yesterday. No, but all in all, I'm glad we've finally brought our upgrade to this season. And honestly, I was just praying that we're moving forward and not going backwards. And today, it shows that okay, the upgrades are actually, what they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're better than the W14 trash. I know. Then straight on, I just want to go quickly to this Hamilton Russell stuff. I think, to be honest, Russell was being selfish in this instance. We know what Monaco as a track is. Even on a dry day, you see people crashing, and then it's raining or the track is wet. When the track is wet, you cannot really tell people's true pace because people are trying as much as possible not to skid off the track and what crash. And you come to think in your mind, oh, you feel Lewis is slow in pace. Do you think he's just trying to be slow? He's also trying to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake, just like George did in trying to push the car in those conditions. But it takes experience, years of experience, running in Monaco to know that it's not about trying to, overtake a car in Monaco. You have to bide your time. The thing about Monaco is it is psychological. In fact, they say it's the most psychological track on the race calendar. So all you need to do is bide your time, wait for someone to make a mistake, which they will do, and you take that position. It's not rocket science, but you're there trying to be selfish. You feel, oh, Lewis is not matching your pace, or his pace is too slow for you and you want to overtake him and all. Even if he eventually lets you pass, there's every possibility that in trying to push to catch Ocon, you will crash that car because you push it too hard because of the conditions of the track. Is that same thing Sainz was trying to do on Ocon, where he eventually crashed at the back of Ocon at what's the corner again? you know, because it's not just about you feeling, oh, I'm faster than this person. The track itself will almost always dictate the pace, you know. So you try as much as possible to bide your time and make your moves. But he was there trying to pull some stunts. And I'm glad the way, most of the people ignored him because I didn't hear Bono tell Lewis anything. Because trust me, Lewis will not even answer that call at all because it was just too ridiculous, you know. Then I'm not a Verstappen fan, but trust me, in as much as I love to hate him, yes, but Max Verstappen is a wonderful driver. I'll give him that. I don't even take away that from him, to be honest. Barring AD21, I told people that this is the person that's going to take over from Hamilton, but AD21 has left a bitter taste in our mouths, as Mercedes fans, and we won't forget that no matter what, you know. So, but then again, yesterday he proved that honestly he can drive. It's not just about driving a fast car; it's being able to tell that car what to do at what points, you know. And he was able to, just by a fraction of a second, beat Alonso to that pole position and all. Coming to Alonso, honestly, I think if Alonso was in that Red Bull, I think he'll be doing wonders in that Red Bull. Alonso is a very, very, very good driver, and with with the way Aston Martin is now, with the car they have now, it's, if there was no Red Bull, trust me, Alonso will win the championship with the way this Aston Martin is, because, and then again, he drives the car so well. Now, this is where we get to see the difference between two drivers driving the same car. He is up there on the podium and Stroll is retired and all. Then there's something again, I think maybe a lot of people are not seeing, is that I give kudos to all the new young drivers today, normally we would see DNFs and big crashes in Monaco, especially when it's wet. And today, these boys, they held their nerve. Piastri, um, Logan Sargent, De Vries, you know, they managed
The
themselves,
freeze.
you know, yeah, they managed themselves well. I think the threat of losing his seat made him think twice, and this is his best uh his best finish so far this season, 12th. And in these conditions, I would say he tried. Piastri too really put in the work. McLaren did a good work and all. Then coming to Ferrari, I would liken Ferrari to Arsenal. They've got what it takes, but something is always going wrong. It's either the driver or the team or something. Something always goes wrong. You know, they have what it takes to win, but I don't know. Yeah, village people is always there, one way or the other. See signs. I don't understand. You're saying, oh, that Lewis is not your problem. But at the end of the day, where did you finish? It goes back to what I was saying. It's not when it comes to Monaco, it's not about how when you're in that train, as long as you're not in the first, second, or third position, you see that from fourth behind, you're just in a train, and all you need to do is bide your time and wait for someone to make a mistake and you capitalize on it. But there he was trying as much as possible to overtake Ocon at that particular um, turn, and he went on and he crashed and he broke his front wing. At the end of the day, you finish behind Lewis. Who knows that this track is more psychological than physical at the end of the day. So it's Ferrari is just I don't know how to classify them, but they are what they are. To be honest, like I said, I liken them to Arsenal. They always put you on high tension at the end of the day. But all in all, the race was thanks for the rain did a good work, because if not for the rain, the race would have been purely boring, to be honest, totally boring. And all. Also, one more thing about George's request. Now, it's a different thing if you are on a track like Barcelona and everybody is giving their cars full beans, and now Lewis is not matching your pace. Then you can make that kind of request. Oh, I'm giving this car full beans. I'm faster than Lewis. Can Lewis let me pass? Not on a track where everybody is just trying to manage not to crash, and you think he's not having the pace. So you just want to now, you know, do team orders, and you think people will listen to you and just give you that go ahead pass Lewis and all. Anyway, he should just take it slow and steady, easy. It will come to him in time. Lewis will retire and he will take over. So, but at the moment, he's still in the back burner for now. I yield.
Well, thank you very much, boss. Uh,
Quick one, admin. Was DRS on during that wet? Because when Norris passed Yuki, I think it was using DRS, but I wasn't so sure because I expect like the DRS to be disabled during like wet
no, no,
racing. I don't know what happened there.
DRS was not on. The thing is that Yuki was about how many? I believe it was about 6 or 5 seconds slower in terms of lap time. Hence why, because he was complaining of brakes, and then they kept on telling him that he should try and manage it, because Lando was closing up on him. So um, I think it was just natural pace, not DRS. But yeah, okay. Um, okay. I know Samuel has been here, but so let's have Samuel, then we'll have Jeff, then um Deep Sea. Thank you very much. Samuel, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, so the race today was quite boring, to be honest, because obviously it is Monaco. Yeah, but there's something I have actually realized. the whole point of Monaco, I don't think it is see, yeah, like if you notice, yeah, it's literally only the fans that complain about, oh, Monaco and it's boring and all. Yeah, but if we should ask the drivers if they actually want to take Monaco out of the uh the calendar, they would say no. Yeah, and the reason is because there is a different kind of feeling here when you're driving and you are close to the barriers and the walls. Okay, so like adrenaline is there, so so I was one of those that used to advocate for Monaco to be, like kicked out of the calendar because of obviously it's boring. Yeah, but after today's race, actually some weeks ago, I thought about it and I was like, okay, that this Monaco track actually favors the drivers. You understand? Because like there is a saying, yeah, like in the Formula One world, I think, yeah, that if you cannot win a race in Monaco, then you can't probably be what, a world champion. Yeah, so like that's my like that's my take on that one. Um, Today I realized that Verstappen is a great driver. You get, like I used to think that to an extent Alonso was the best driver in Formula One presently because of his previous record and how consistent he is and everything and his experience. Yeah, but today Verstappen proved me wrong, and I was literally just enjoying him drive. He basically almost did not make any mistake. Yeah, the only time like Verstappen had like uh, a few like commands in the race, like a few mistakes or whatever, was when he was like it was when it was raining, and that time he was still on medium tires. Yeah, but he still actually did a very good job in the race today. Um, for Perez, I'm not going to say anything about Perez because like if Verstappen was in Perez's situation, yeah, Verstappen would have probably gotten a podium. Yeah, because he has done it so many times. But maybe it's because of those like open tracks and not street tracks. Yeah. To be honest, I don't know why Science was just talking anyhow. He kept on going to the radio and talking nonsense and talking nonsense. I'm like, oh God, calm down. Do you understand? So like um I actually think Science was actually good enough to be in Ferrari, but now I don't really think so. Because out of him and Leclerc, he is the one that I mean, like it's quite clear yet that Leclerc is the better driver, to be honest, than Science. And I think in a team like Ferrari, yeah, like they need two drivers that are basically like tie and that are equal with each other. Um, for Aston Martin, yeah, um, Alonso is a great driver. Obviously, I don't really have anything to say about Alonso. Yeah, but like regarding the decision to actually change from hard to medium when it was raining, yeah, um, I believe that, to be honest, yeah, like it was a sensible decision to me at the point because it was only one part of the track that was wet. That it was only raining on a part of the track. Really, I think that is why the team decided to actually put him on mediums. You understand? But then a lap later, and it started raining all over the track. So that was just quite unfortunate. Yeah, but then it still worked out for him. Yeah. Um, I believe yeah that Lawrence Stroll has to actually take a very difficult decision to actually remove Lance Stroll from his team, from Aston Martin, because he is obviously not performing at all. You understand? And like Stroll is a good driver, yeah, fine, yeah, but he's not a driver that has reached. He's not a driver that at this point deserves to be in um in a top team like Aston Martin. Yes, like I'm aware that Stroll's father is the yeah, like I'm aware yeah, that Stroll's father is the one that owns Aston Martin, so that is obviously why he is in that team. Yeah, but I think Lawrence Stroll has to actually take the decision and actually just close his eye and just remove his son from Aston Martin and put his son in another team, maybe like AlphaTauri, since the Breeze is doing nonsense. Fine, yeah, and that will probably be what for like next season. Yeah, but yeah, no, but I think like if they want to actually extract everything that they have from their vehicle and they want to reach their like optimal point like in a season, Lance Stroll has to go. Unless maybe he does better next season, but I don't see that happening. Yeah. For Sonoda's race was actually going really well. Yeah, but I don't really know what happened. Apparently, his brakes were quite nonsense. So like that's another thing. Um, De Vries, nothing about De Vries. De Vries is a normal guy. He does not perform, so that's no surprise there. Um, Logan Sargent shouldn't be in Formula One, to be honest. He should not be in Formula One. You know, um, um, Williams have tried an American driver before. I don't remember his name, Brandon Hartley or something. Yeah, and he did not perform. So I don't know why they would try another was American driver. This is not a NASCAR that we're driving. This is Formula One. So those guys should not be in Formula One. These American guys, you know. What else? The house guys were just there, really. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Sorry, Samuel. So I just I need to clarify two things. So first, you're saying that I bought a team so that my son can drive in Formula One, but then after buying the team and you know establishing the team, I should kick my son out to a different team to go and race. I don't think that's not possible. I bought the team because of him. Anyway, that's not why I wanted to clarify. Did you say that if Max Verstappen started P20 in Monaco, that he would have finished on the podium? Is that what you said? I'm just trying to clarify.
Mm. I said that he might have.
Ah,
He gets, yeah, but like obviously, yeah, like
in
the
Monaco.
reason why I
I
said
said,
might
would
is
he have
because
climbed on? I don't know how he would have done it. Like, would he have climbed on the other car? Like, how? How in Monaco?
uh, maybe now, he might have,
Okay.
he might, climb the other cars there. But what I'm basically saying is that, um, no, like what I'm basically saying is that like Verstappen has actually proven himself from that kind of position before.
Yeah, on a
Yeah, but
different track.
obviously those are on like
On a
yeah, like
different track, I
obviously yeah,
think
like
that's
those
very
are on.
possible. I think maybe he could have won with the car that he has. But I just think that to say that he could have come from P20 to maybe P3 in Monaco on the podium I just think is wild. That's
I did
all.
not say P3. I said he will get points. So
You said
points, even if
podium. You said
it's
podium.
P10.
Okay, well, I heard
I don't
podium. I
think so.
didn't hear point, but okay, it's fine. I
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted to
no, no, no.
clarify.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much, guys. Okay. Jefta and Dipsy, please. Jefta.
Yeah, good evening, guys. So yeah, I think everyone, not just not to repeat what everyone has said. I think the race was the race. I think it was what I just wanted to highlight was I think someone made mention of the DRS thing, and I noticed during the race also that when the Ferrari sandwich and Gasly was like when they were all coming together at the end of the race to get the checkered flag, Gasly's DRS was on, and it was actually odd that I didn't hear anybody talking about it in terms of even like the media, like there's no conversation about it. I was actually confused. I thought maybe DRS was turned on briefly before the race ended and there wasn't any talk about that. So I don't really know about that. And then the conversation about Russell and Lewis. I think yeah, maybe because Russell has is very fond of making these requests and complaining and talking too much and probably doing too much. I kind of understand that the guy is easily becoming one of the most unlikable guys in F1. And I personally don't like him, and I'm a diehard Hamilton fan. But I am also a person that would like to give a person credit, even if I don't like you, yeah. And I think when I heard the Russell thing, I also heard the part where he said it was in the context of he was going to overtake Lewis based on the fact that, and also it takes a bit of audacity to actually think you can do faster than Lewis, and that's one thing with the guy. Maybe he also thinks he's that guy, But then in the context of the fact that also we should know that these guys don't have the intervals as we do on screen. So probably at that time he didn't know. And I think he didn't know because it was after he made the request that he was made to know that he's currently doing a good job. But then I remember he also promised that he said he was going to pass Lewis, and then he was not going to go more than 5 seconds, which is a bit audacious. I actually think he can do that, but he was promising he was not going to go more than 5 seconds. And the theory behind that was, if he was over, or if he passed Lewis, if the penalty was given of 5 seconds, he was going to be behind Lewis anyways. And then if you look at it in the concept of team spirit and say, okay, Mercedes would not still lose points to Ferrari, then that makes sense. But I just think nobody's really talking about. I've not heard anybody talk about the fact of, okay,
No,
maybe.
sorry, Jeff. Can I just say that the problem isn't that Russell asked that. The problem is that after his engineer told him that he was 7 seconds behind him, he still asked again and again. That's what the problem is.
Also, he never wants to give up track position, even when he's asked to do so. So he's got a bloody bull-faced cheek to think that he can consistently ask for things that he's not prepared to give. He's full of shit.
I totally agree with everything you guys have said, yeah. But I'm saying in this particular case, I'm isolating it to this
We don't
particular
care because you know
incident.
what he
To
was
this.
trying to do sneakily?
You know,
He was trying to come ahead of Lewis so that he could continue with the narrative that he's out driving Lewis. He think he's slick, but everybody's got his bloody number.
you know the funniest thing. I'm
If
all,
you think that you're
Oh
so
my god.
talented, drive your car and beat him. If you think that you're that guy, but you're not that guy, are you? Because you've got one race win compared to 103. You're not that guy. Pipe down, learn from the best, and just stop your nonsense. He's getting on my nerves.
you know, I'm actually always rooting
But
for
yeah,
Russell. Like I don't think. Sorry, sorry briefly before you continue. I don't
okay,
think that
fine.
in the past, even the thing with team orders in other races, I think I've been one to say that I did not hear a team order in previous races. Right, I didn't hear it. Maybe there was, but I didn't hear it. But I'm just saying that I've always like kind of said,
In
listen.
Hungary, he said no. What do you mean you didn't hear it?
I actually did not hear team order. I promise you, I didn't
He
hear it.
blatantly said
I
no. He ain't doing it.
I didn't. Well, I didn't hear. I had a different conversation. But I'm just saying.
He's full of shit.
But I'm just saying for this race, I just think that when his engineer told him that, listen, you're 7 point something seconds, like 7 point something seconds behind you, right? You're doing fine as it is. I just thought that he actually kept asking because he said that he thought that he could overtake Ocon. That's what it was. So he kept asking again. So I think he could have let it go the first after they responded to him. But sorry, continue.
How can you overtake Ocon when your teammate is doing consistently the fastest lap? Are you putting wings on your car? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
It don't even make sense. You're not the
I
fastest.
didn't understand that either. I thought you should have dropped it, after
I
they
think
said, listen.
Are you
I think
okay?
I don't
sorry,
even
sorry,
understand. Sorry to
let me just
interject.
give
I
wait,
don't
let me
even
just quickly defend
I don't
George
even
Russell.
understand
Mo,
why George was asking.
wait. You know, a similar,
Like,
in Miami, obviously he was the one ahead, so he probably thought it's a similar situation. You understand?
Guys, there's no thought.
He was
So
That
told that
boy
it
is
wasn't, and he still
that
carried
boy
on.
is an entitled. I mean, he should choose between
Exactly.
whether he's a driver or a strategist. He literally refused to back Lewis when he had an opportunity in Zandvoort to win that race. He comes, I mean, since the
Thank
season
you.
began,
Thank you.
he's been passing around team orders. You see, this is a guy who, until the rain came, was not able to pass Gasly. Ocon was a better racer for Alpine the whole weekend. He was not able to pass Gasly on merit, sorry. So at what point did he think he was going to beat
And he
Ocon?
couldn't pass Lewis
He's
on merit.
he could
Can we
not. You
just
see,
say?
the only reason he had a chance today was because his Medusa stones showed up again. This guy is very lucky. He's a lucky chap. If there was no rain, he was probably going to remain eighth. I mean, George Russell, I
Mo,
like
Mo,
that he takes charge of
can
his
we let
race.
Jester
I like
finish?
that he
Can
takes
we let Jester
charge of his race.
let him
I
finish
like
first?
that he's very decisive, but and that he wants to be aggressive. But
I mean, really, the team is not about you, just you. I mean, how many races ago, the last race, they asked Lewis to let him pass. I thought that was incredibly unfair and unnecessary. In Miami, they gave him the best strategy. If you ask some corners today he probably had the best strategy. Lewis would have probably run that race to the end with those hard tires as well. And he seemed to have better pace with them. I mean, no, George needs to get his head, I mean, in a jar or something and settle himself. He's quite ridiculous. I mean, you should be saying, what is my gap to Leclerc? Not, can I be allowed to let Lewis pass, then I'll pass him again? Is he joking?
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
actually,
carry on,
yeah.
please. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yes, that was just what I wanted like to bring. And yeah, understood what everyone said. I just wanted to point that out. And yeah, it's as I said, it's audacious and it's also ridiculous considering it's Monaco. Because I was also imagining, assuming Mercedes decided to allow this thing pass, would Leclerc be watching them try to switch each other and play Mercedes bromance and whatever? That was also one thing that I was thinking. But I also think maybe the guy is, I don't know, I think maybe he's feeling pressure. I think maybe he's insecure, to be honest with you. Like the guy is always trying to prove himself. I know it's a trait that the greats have. If someone like Alonso is trying to drive the car and drive other people's race and trying to be strategic and think about strategy and think this is what should happen, I personally think that's what Russell is trying to be, or he's trying to show himself as. Okay, like he's also like he has the skills or he has the way of thinking like people, or thinking strategically and all those kind of things, basically. And then it comes up, it's a bit too much now because almost every race there's always one ridiculous request. And Pampa, he has not really had any.
Jeff, sir, do you
Oh,
want
sorry.
to?
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah.
had a phone call. I had to end that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said that's all from me basically. But yeah, I just felt like the guy is insecure and stuff. And maybe because the requests are coming in daily or almost every race, he's always trying to overdo or trying to do too much at this point. It's just becoming very unlikable. But yeah, that's just those were my points for now, at least for the top four teams.
Jeff, so I believe you are referring to Charles Leclerc, right?
No, no, no. Oh, George Russell. George
Oh,
Russell.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, which pressure? Who is pressuring him? If
Well, if someone is doing
uh,
too much, it does.
no,
You've
no, hold on. First of all, I don't think Mercedes. I don't think any driver in Mercedes now is in any form of the pressure is in Brackley. It's not on the track. If we're looking at the whole Mercedes situation, George is doing a good job. Lewis is doing a good job. The focus is on the focus is on the car. So what I feel is I don't think there's any form of pressure. Like who is pressuring him? Well, where is he in the constructors? He's P5 in the drivers championships. Okay, 19 points behind Lewis. Well, 19 points behind Lewis is behind both Ferrari drivers are behind him. So personally I don't see any form of pressure, but I think you should just judge as a driver should just calm down, because sometimes when you are too forward, you tend to take the wrong steps. You understand? This is the second year in the team. Lewis is not going to be there forever. Even if he knows that he wants to be the leader very soon, you gradually learn. You learn the ropes. Not every time you are demanding, demanding, demanding. Yes, they expect you to challenge uh Lewis, but let it be on merit. You understand? Let it be that okay. Assuming he was the faster driver, like Miami was a different case now. He was the faster driver. also. Yeah. Yeah, there have been different cases. Brazil, he won the race. Nobody argue with him there. You understand? So I think you should be patient. There's no pressure. If he has not won race, compared to his record with Valtteri, self, that has spent, I mean, Valtteri, the how what are we now going to describe um Valtteri's situation? But I don't see pressure though. But yeah, that's just my take on that. Imade, let's quickly have Imade, then we'll have Jeff talk, because Imade wanted to say something.
No, yeah, it was, yeah, good evening, everyone. It was just on this whole George Russell thing. I personally think is the hype that has been building and coming up with him from the Williams, Sky Sports interview and whatsoever, all the people that are championing him and the backgrounds and that kind of a thing. And that is basically what is fueling him. And there was, I think someone was saying in the context of giving the team the maximum points, but it is actually the team's, it should be the team's decision if they actually want to get maximum points. He made the mistake. Let the team decide. It's not as if they're actually fighting. It's not even, they were not even in a situation where they were probably fighting for a particular spot in a constructor's title or in the constructor's title whatsoever. So he was just being, as most people have said, he was just being cheeky, and personally is just the hype that has been following him, and he wants to continue to feed the narrative that he's doing better than Lewis or whatsoever. And personally, I dislike him because he speaks too much. He talks too much. It seems like he doesn't even take responsibility for his actions. He tries to dance around responsibility and all that kind of. So personally, I dislike him, but it's just personally, I just feel it's the hype that has followed him from Williams. It was Mr. Saturday. Then they've given him a competitive car, and they realized, oh, clearly he's not Mr. Saturday, and so he has to find a way to continue to follow that hype. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have Dipsy? Thank you.
Hi guys. I wanted to first of all respond to Quicksilver, who described Ferrari with compared Ferrari with Arsenal. That's a slander of the highest proportions. He's not here to take it back, so just want to put that out there. Maybe Spurs. You can compare Ferrari with Spurs. That's fine. Secondly, this is the annual Monaco Grand Prix, but the race gets won on Saturday. Nothing, the only excitement that happens is, if there's any rain. If there's no rain, we really shouldn't expect any surprises from Monaco. I mean, it is what it is for Monaco. FIA loves it. They love it. The money men love it. The drivers love it as well. So with our watching just need to love it with them as well. Because Monaco isn't going anywhere. It's there forever and ever. It's one of those. It's if there's an A star kind of track, it's going to be there. Come what may. What was the one I had? Yeah. Sticking up a bit for George, he actually did apologize a bit in the post race presser, but that was when he ran into the back of, I think, was Perez or something. He didn't have the best race, but again, there's that thing of racing behind a great, sorry, racing the same team as a great person. You're not racing the entire field. You're racing your teammates first and foremost. And so that will do many different things to your psyche. And I guess it's just one of those things that's going on with George Russell. He's racing with a great, with a great, there's no other word for to describe him. And you're not racing against the team, the entire 2019 other drivers. You're racing, one person in your team first and foremost before you then race the entire grid. So you're going to do everything within your power to try and outwit him. However nice or not, it comes out to every one of us watching. Yeah, yeah. Again, the from the timings of yesterday's quali, it shows that the upgrades that came in for the different teams were okay. Let's see what happens in Spain. In Spain, where maybe something better would happen. For Mercedes and for others. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tikpo. Okay. I thought we had someone else, but okay. Okay. Still on the top four. Does anyone want to add anything else on the top four? Okay. Miss Catrick. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Hi. Um, do you know what? I didn't even realize that Mercedes has been quietly creeping up to Aston Martin, and now they're just 1 point differential between them in the Constructors' Championship. I think that is actually really good, considering that the car that they're having to deal with and making all these changes and hoping for the best, and that Aston Martin actually came out with a good package to begin with. That's really commendable. I think that the problem that Aston Martin has, which is not a problem that they can solve, is Lance Stroll, because he's just not consistent. But if my dad bought a plaything for me to to be on the grid, I can't see him, getting rid of his son, because he's only in F1 because his son wants this. So he don't care so long as his son's having a good time. So, and Papa Stroll is hot anyway.
Thank you very much, Miss Catrick. Let's have to hear read on them more, please. Thank you, guys.
Um, I just wanted to say some things about like the championship for Perez. I just feel like Perez should, how will I say it, stop listening to all these guys and try to not talk too much about the championship. Rather, just do some of the talking on track. You know, the least person that they expect to win is someone, someone that you don't really have your eyes on. So it's just like a thinking that just came to me. Like, I just feel like it needs to, how will I say it, dial down the media on, oh yeah, are you still in the championship fight? Just give some diplomatic answers and really like not talk too much about it. That's just it, basically.
Okay.
For that, you're telling him to concede, I mean, to accept defeat. Let him
Yeah.
try. Let him run his mouth. The action is going to be done on track. And everybody will see the outcome at the end of the season.
Yeah, I believe he has to believe, because if he's not talking about it, that means he's not believing now. Don't you think so? Yeah, he has to talk about it so he believes.
I think if he over believes, he might not win. So he should stop believing too much. He should like try to keep his head down and try to believe later. You understand?
No, well, thank you very much. Okay, I'll read one.
Okay, so what I just want to talk about is there are someone talked about science, or that he was talking too much. For me, what science did today was what every driver would do on the grid. Like the strategy Ferrari did today was kind of, it was somehow, because I like find science was fourth, Ocon was third, and I don't understand why they are trying to cover up Hamilton, whereas like they need to cover up Ocon. Like I just don't get it. Like why are they telling him that it is Hamilton that he needs to cover up or something like that? But someone said that it's him not him to be himself or something like that. Like there's no how this same thing has been happening. There's no how the driver won't say anything. Why would they be talking about the person behind, not the person in front? Because if they've gone for the overcut, he might have out jumped in, because like they've been talking about coming in for a long time. No, they asked him to stay in or something like that. So I feel like that's like what every driver would do. And for me, like people talking about what drivers do say on the team radio, I don't think people need to be like to pay much attention when it comes to something. It's not like the judge team. That the judge's own quite was quite somehow. So but the kind of science own or maybe just complaining about some things about the car, it's something that happens. So I don't think it's not like science did what it used to do. And for the last speaker that just spoke that talked about Perez, I don't know what Perez did to you, but for me, why like the championship is still long. There's still 16 or 17 races to go. So why shouldn't we talk about the championship when he's second? Like he's still is a racing driver, and that is the first thing that all racing driver needs to talk about. So let him talk about the championship as he likes. And there's nothing that can happen. So Perez can do anything. So for me, you telling that you keep quiet, like if that might even be the way even like he didn't keep his own mental health alive and be able to challenge Max or something like that. So it's not like we all know everything that's happening, like how those drivers used to like set themselves from like from their rivals or something like that. We know what Max and Lewis do. We know what Max and Lewis and Nico do, all this stuff like that. So let him talk about it. If he can, we let him. That's it. But now, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Thank you, thank you. Okay. I think in all of this, yeah, I think one thing we have not necessarily touched on is, or rather, we've not really discussed is Alpine's pace per se, because um, I was looking at the lap times of both drivers in terms of their best time. So Gasly had obviously Gasly had a better in terms of best time. He put in a 115. Leclerc was a 116. I'm sorry, Sainz was a 116. Though Leclerc put in a 115.7. So I think in terms of the pace, I think we have to give Alpine their credit because it shows that Alpine they've really improved over time as a team. Because if obviously I don't think the Ferrari pit wall just decided to focus on Hamilton. If you can't get Ocon, then you are just going to your next focus will be on maintaining the position you are so that the person behind you doesn't creep up to you. So I feel from my own perspective, I just felt they they just had an made up their mind they could not get Ocon, no matter the undercut or overcut, and then they were just like, you know what, let's just focus on Hamilton, and eventually it still went AY because even when they were even speaking to Otmar today, Otmar said he wasn't. He said he was. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he said he wasn't even necessarily scared of the Ferraris. Was Hamilton? He was more worried about. So, I don't know. Obviously, we don't see the full details, or rather, the full telemetry to know what's going on behind the scenes. But um, I think if Ferrari were focused on Hamilton, they probably saw him as a bigger threat than Ocon. But yeah, okay. Um, I believe we have a more.
Hello. For me, I wanted to speak on a few things. One, I think Otmar's job was saved today, or saved the man's job. There's been a lot of talk about Lossie. Is it Lossie or Laurent? Rossi, yes, being very unhappy with Otmar. So probably he needed that today. Um, George Russell, I've already made my comments. I think you should compete. You should compete. You should absolutely have your own mind, but you should not have the air and the entitlement that surrounds him. You had one season, you are ahead of Lewis. He lost a record-breaking opportunity through very tricky circumstances across the entire season. The man was down his entire year. He comes back, you make a bad car. You have safety car after safety car that probably gives you an advantage, which is okay because you probably placed yourself there so you could have that advantage. Yes, you are ahead of him. It doesn't give you the sense of entitlement that Russell has come with this season. I mean, the man has been asking for team orders every race. So, starting with Bahrain, is he racing or is he managing? It's he needs. I think he really needs to calm down. And people that look at it and say, "Oh yes, he's managing his own race. He's being very smart about it." That's okay, but in the process, he's undermining the abilities of Lewis. So he needs to be smart. He really needs not to do that. You can't come out in the media or probably and say I would have done a P3. Which P3? You was literally seated behind Gasly. Why didn't you overtake him? If it weren't for pit stops and rain, you probably would have remained a 7 or an 8 today. I think he needs to find a balance. Mercedes is allowing it because I think they feel like they are evenly matched. We'll see as the season progresses. The other one was Mercedes upgrades. They look good. They look comfortable, at least from Lewis's side. Let's see how they perform over the next races. The point is to remain consistent. At least they were not terribly inconsistent as they've been before. So probably it's a good thing in the right direction. The mighty lap that was Red Bull. Well, today then somehow it didn't look so mighty. It looked like probably Max did not give it a good effort yesterday, actually, for him to be under threat because then today the gaps were the same. Their car is far ahead. Perez, he had a bad day, just like I think Max Singapore 2022 where he thought he was going for 9 consecutive wins and couldn't. So for Perez to say he should downplay himself, uh, I mean, I think he's the only person who should have self belief in himself right now because that team clearly doesn't. It doesn't favor him, and it's. I mean, for a team head to say what Marco said is very unfortunate. He needs to focus on winning and being a world champion, and he deserves it from that team for the things that he's done for Max. Alonso and Aston Martin. Well, Alonso is doing very well. Stroll, I don't know because I feel that they've had an opportunity twice to see what Stroll can do. That was with the pink Mercedes, and now with either the green Red Bull or the Aston Martin. I don't know. If he genuinely cannot compete this season where the Aston Martin has made such a big leap, then I mean, I know that dad is the owner, but he's not the sole owner. Then there needs to be decisions made realistically to say, can he continue on, or can we get in somebody who's going to give us that value that we're looking for? Because These things translate to more than just Formula One. They translate to car sales, they translate to share prices, they translate to sponsors. So, I mean, that's within Daddy Stroll and Lance's. It will be a difficult decision. Like when you tell your parents, you're not going to be my manager. Thank you for your wonderful 17 years of raising me to become this superstar, but I need other people to take me to take on from you. It's going to be that kind of decision. But yeah, I think that it may seem funny to us, but at some point when the shareholders sit and say, "Is this the best driver in that seat?" I hope Stroll Senior has the majority vote and can say, "Yeah, my son will stay for this." But eventually, if it's about really giving yourselves the best opportunity for car sales, for share prices, and for global domination, you may have to switch those drivers around. So it may be a hard decision, but I think Stroll can probably get into any and can buy another team in another series and fulfill his son's dream. For Esteban, he's done well. I was hoping that Lewis would pass him, and the probably it was more difficult than George thought. But yes, I think Lewis seems to be on the recovery trajectory, and I really wish him very well. I hope that we can have wins, not just one, and not unprobable or perhaps. I hope that the win can come in a genuine competition for a battle, so he gets his confidence back, full swing, so that we can be able to see him do magic in however long he has left in this formula. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you so much. Okay, Ima, did you want to say something before I have Easy?
All right, yeah. I just wanted to. I know there's going to be, as more has raised the point that it's going to cause some controversy going forward. Well, before the controversy continues, and is about the special, this quote and unquote special lap yesterday to the finishing gap today. I mean, yesterday slash today and everything. I I think the whole melee and confusion is sort of we forget that Alonso actually had to pit twice when everything was going on. So technically, that gap would have been shorter or would have been smaller if Alonso didn't have to pit for the mediums or even he repeated for the intermediates immediately. I, chances are Alonso would have been closer. So yes, we know the Red Bull is the best car, but we also know Monaco as a track neutralizes a whole lot of advantage that you have. And that actually wanted to that actually back to my point to you when you were saying about Alpine. Yes, we see improvements in Alpine's pace, but at the same time, Alpine are we maybe we just wait and see how Alpine performs on other conventional tracks because what if it's a one-off thing of Monaco? They're just excelling in Monaco. So back to the point of Max's lap yesterday, I would die on the hill of that. Max, that lap was special because Monaco neutralizes the advantage you have as a car, but the finishing gap today was because Alonso actually pitted twice in the short in space of I think 2 laps. So clearly that was going to show in the finishing gap. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Sorry, I think I just add. Maddie, I think it was more about the rain and not necessarily Alonso pitting twice. To be honest, I think that if the rain if they didn't have to go on inters, I think the gap would have been a lot. I think it was probably the rain.
But the rain came. I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying the gap was going to be so close. Max clearly had an advantage in open air and he was in the zone. But I'm saying at that point in time when it was Alonso pitted initially and he could have had a chance to close the gap a little bit and probably Max would extend it towards the end of the race. He entered the pit twice And pitting in under racing speed in dry conditions, I think is someone might correct me. I think it's about 18 seconds. Now pitting on under the rain twice, that's going to at least 20, 22 seconds per stop. So maybe we can factor that in. I'm just trying to put everything into context.
Engineer. Okay. Let's have easy, please.
Hi guys. Hi guys. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes, is everything? Yeah.
To wrap this out, it was a good race today, to be honest, for Mercedes. I was a bit more optimistic after Friday practice. That the new upgrades that Mercedes are going to bring in were going to be good. But as soon as Saturday third practice happened and qualifiers happened, I kind of gave up interest in the race. Then watching the race go ahead, it was actually interesting watching Lewis. It seemed like he had a much better weekend than Russell. He had a better hang of the car, understands the upgrades better than Russell. And even in the race, and I literally loved watching Alonso race also, even though I hate the guy, but he's a good driver. And this season, he's been the one that has consistently given it to Verstappen. Um, I liked Lewis Hamilton's race. I hoped that he could get Ocon, but I don't know why. As soon as he gets into the DRS zone with Ocon, he would drop off it again. I don't know the reason why he couldn't get close enough to attempt to pass. He never really materialized. Um, I don't quite know why Russell tries this thing almost every race. It's almost as if he does it to try and use it to save face with his performance. Um, each time he's not performing. He tries to throw people off, and it seems like he's been found out within the team. That's the reason why his race engineer was like, "Dude, just put your head down and do what you're doing. No one's gonna listen to you." But my issue with this is the longer it happens, the more it actually gives Mercedes. It might actually start giving Mercedes a bad name to an extent, or because people might just not like Russell and might start hating him. That even after Lewis Hamilton leaves, he won't have a good cult following because of this behavior. You understand what I'm saying? He gives like a snitch vibe or whatever, like a weasel kind of vibe. That you just not gonna say, you know what, I tried, it didn't work at the start. Or I tried, I outraced him that start. He always has to find a reason to justify not performing. It's very, very direct, I get it. But sometimes it doesn't work and I don't like the attitude to that. On the Stroll situation, Stroll and Perez had a horrible weekend all through. I can't explain the reason why. And I think sometimes people give Stroll a harder time because his father owns the team. He's not a great driver. He is a good driver, but he's not a great driver. And I probably reckon Aston Martin probably didn't even think that they were going to be as good as they are this season. So Stroll's position wasn't a threat because it wasn't that they're going to be at the front racing anyway. It was just that they're going to be okay, and Alonso can basically teach Stroll how to put two and two together and become a better race driver. But I reckon that Stroll's position might be under threat going into next season if if Aston Martin are going to be very competitive. Um, this race has also shown the reason why um, Lewis Hamilton should get a new contract at Mercedes because he is clearly the leader in that team. Russell is trying, but he's trying too hard. He's not actually putting in the work. He's just trying to have the image of putting in the work without putting in the work. But Hamilton is the actual leader in that team, and they need him in that team at least till 2026, even if not more, to solidify until they find a good person to take over his position. Because I don't think it's Russell. Anyway, that's my own for this race. Let's see what Spain brings. Hopefully, it brings up better racing and gives us and Mercedes do better, especially with Hamilton. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's okay. Let's have Miss Catrock. Then we'll have Bud, please.
So I just want to come back and talk about a bit about Lawrence Stroll. The reason why they're in a bit of a sticky situation is that he put in a cash injection of 232 million into the company to assure that his son sits in that seat. And earlier this year in January, they had a takeover bid because he's the second largest shareholder, and he threw another set of money in it to bring himself from 23% to 30%. He's got money. And if money is what it takes for his son to have this plaything, that's what's happening. And they need the cash injection because he's the one that's fronting them the cash. He's the one that's building the new facility. He's the money man. Stroll ain't going nowhere, and neither is his son.
He's not going anywhere. He's here to stay. Yeah, okay. Let's have Bud, please. Yeah, Bud, please.
Okay, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, boss.
Okay, yeah, I just want to talk about the Verstappen lap from yesterday. First of all, I think he's an absolutely fantastic driver. But I saw that his lap the complete other way that everybody else saw it. There is no difference between what he did in that lap and what Lewis did to get out of Q2. If you look at Lewis's lap, he had a poor sector one, poor sector two, and then put in a mighty sector three. The reason is the tire was not up to temperature yet, so he didn't have the confidence to push. So him getting to, I think he got to P5 just behind George. It just shows you that his car is that much faster than those that were behind him. For Max not to have a good sector one and a good sector two, it was because he didn't have the confidence to push yet. So when the tire got into the right temperature, he did a mighty sector three. It just shows you how quick that car is. Now, like I said, this is not hitting on Max. I'm just telling you, there's no difference between what he did and what Lewis did. It's just that these commentators have some way of stirring up a narrative that they like. Nobody hyped up what Lewis did, but everybody hyped up what Max did. If they hyped up Lewis's lap as well, we'll be talking about it. But there's totally no difference between what Lewis did to get out of Q2 and what Max did. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Bud, please. Whew. Okay. Okay. Yemi, do you want to go ahead? You can.
Yes, please. Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Sorry. I kind of joined late. Quite busy today, but yes. I like that previous speaker, man. So I'll just even continue from where it started, or from where it ended. Sorry, as I was saying yesterday, I said it that people are just I love maybe Mercedes haters. Everybody's like Max lap was fantastic, all that, yada. And I came here, I told you, look, man, that lap was basic, man. It wasn't even a good lap. Let's not even call it, before we even get to fantastic, it wasn't a good lap. With the tools in his hands, he should have done better. He had no business having a scrap with Alonso and Leclerc. I mean, we saw the evidence in the race today. I think people are just subscribing to the narrative that, oh, this track should be a weak track for Red Bull. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Is again back to what the last speaker said. Narrative that some bloody media heads are pushing. Oh, they expect, based on what? Based on what? Like, what's the evidence there, right? The Red Bull car is fantastic everywhere. They had look by before half distance in the race. This guy was 30 seconds ahead of third place. Was already done 10 seconds ahead of Alonso. Do you get the car doesn't have any bloody weakness? People just are just pushing a narrative. That Max lap was basic, and we saw it today, right? And what the previous speaker said, that's so spot on. Max had no business. But again, we know Max qualifying is not a strong point for Max. It's not today. I mean, under pressure, he binned it in Saudi, right? It's not a strong point for Max. If you look at, he has more wins than in polls, right? And that's reflective of someone who's had a really good car because the best drivers, they have great polls, they have good, they have fantastic wins. Look at someone like Senna now. See how many poles he has compared to his wins. In such a short time. I mean, he raced for a while, but compared to if you look at the pole to win ratio, very high on both fronts, but you can tell that it's very balanced. So, I mean, Max has had the benefit of being in a very good car for the past 2 years, and that's what he's enjoying. He's not a great qualifier, so let's not hype him when he delivers some power laps. Like, and I mean, again, it's nothing against the guy. It's just when I just saw people, you're hyping the guy for delivering what he should be doing in the fastest car in the grid. He kind of has at least half a second on most of the grid, and we're here celebrating like guys, man. That's nothing fantastic. It was a car that was not clear fastest, and he did that fantastic. And that's what Leclerc was doing a lot last year, right? Putting the car in positions where it wasn't supposed to be. Those are great drivers right there. I mean, Max is a decent driver. I'm not going to, he's a decent driver. So, but let's be honest with ourselves, right? Overall, the race was a very boring race, if you ask me. I mean, the rain maybe spiced it up in the end, but it was always going to be a Red Bull win. Alonso did his best, but I'm sure he soon very quickly realized that their car had no match. There was no match for the Red Bull. So I'm sure he must have been trying, but probably clocked out very early on. I think Ocon was a roadblock for Lewis and Sainz. I suspect the Ferraris had much greater pace than the race results suggested. Because if you look at it, science was literally behind the guy all through, and that's suggestive of okay, I can actually move. I can do half a second more if this guy is out of the way. Right? We saw it in the end. Lewis as well. Lewis was literally behind him in the rain, despite being a car he wasn't too comfortable with based on the setup direction he went with. So, I think Ocon. I mean, they were lucky. I think maybe they had a perfect setup for Monaco, and they got the strategy was great. They got the qualifying right, and once you qualify, wherever you qualify in Monaco, you're likely to finish right. So that's why I think it is. I think this is a one-off step. Or I mean, I stand corrected, and you see Barcelona, right? I think overall, I mean, this was a good weekend for Mercedes to come here on the back of fresh updates that you have never tested before, and to be able to, deliver a performance of P4, P5, fantastic. I don't know what Russell was on about, but the guy's a clown. It's not today, so I don't even. After last year, I saw all I needed to see about him last year in terms of performance. He's not as good. He's not as quick as Lewis. He's never near a match. So, and that's Lewis in a car that he's been struggling with. So when Lewis, I mean, let's hope that this update, I mean, Lewis, I mean, based on his interviews, his feedback all through the weekend, you can definitely tell that he definitely prefers this car to the previous version. So, I expect him to really, show us more performance in this vehicle, right? I mean, from now to the end of season. So, I don't think people say Russell has a match, but that's some BS. I think Russell is more of a match than Valtteri was, particularly in race pace. So I think that's the truth. I think in quali, I don't see it if you ask me. So anything can be behaving the way he wants to be. That's business. Nobody. I don't take him seriously. The guy he has a weird ego, and I don't think he needs to iron it out. He needs to become a more balanced driver in terms of how he sees himself and how. But again, I'm not here to dictate how people should behave. But ultimately, I feel like if he is going to excel in Mercedes, he needs to be more like Lewis in terms of course. I mean, Mercedes is Lewis. Lewis is Mercedes. You know, and they have grown together as a team and they've adopted similar values. So I think Russell. I mean, Russell. I'm not slagging him off, but I just feel like every now and then you see these flashes of grace from the guy. Like, how can you be asking them to to let you buy in Monaco? Like, are you okay? What kind of bullshit is that? You get so that that's on that. And we saw the same thing in Bahrain. But look at Miami. We just let him buy. Easy. There's nothing too easy. Let him buy, right? But if that was the reverse, you can bet that Russell would have fought. I mean, we saw it in Hungary last year now when Lewis was charging up for P2 and Russell was still fighting him. I'm like, guy, man. So in any case, I don't really rate the guys. I don't take him seriously when he saying all these things. He can do whatever he wants. I don't take him seriously. He'll be okay. But yeah, overall, very boring race. This Red Bull era is dead, to be honest. Not a not a great era. So let I mean bring on. I'm I'm looking forward to the next race, Barcelona. I think we got the updates in a good place. If you ask me, I think the updates seem to be working fine. I think the I mean, there's stability in the car now. It's more predictable. It seems we'll learn more in Barcelona. I'm optimistic from now to the end of the season. I think if that car is 2 tenths, if you're able to get that car 2 tenths behind Rebel, 2 tenths, that's what we need. We just need to get that car 2 tenths. I trust Lewis and George to be more than a match for those guys because they don't need to be in the same vehicle. Yeah, I think they're far better drivers than the Red Bull pair, in my opinion. And I think they'll be more than a match for it. Just if there's 2 tenths difference, that's it. They don't need to be equal cars, 2 tenths difference. But we'll say. But I mean, that's I don't know what the difference. If you are judging by Monaco qualifying, it's 4 tenths, 3 tenths. But again, Monaco is a special track, so you can't really let's discount Monaco. Barcelona is actually the perfect track to be able to tell where performance is. So we'll know. I may be saying all of this and then come Barcelona we're like a second behind, and then I'll be here. In any case, um, we'll see. Thanks.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Okay. Okay. Well, read one.
Okay, so yeah, like I just want to ask Yemi that if you know enjoying how Red Bull are very fast. So I just want to ask you that if you know enjoying it because when Mercedes was very fast, when those guys were almost like within 23 laps, they everyone would be like 2 laps, 4 laps behind them. Were you not enjoying it then? But now it seems you should be enjoying this one also. So and all these George Russell and this, I mean, to me, I'm enjoying it. I said it at the start of the season that if all these like I George, that guy is very diplomatic. So it will happen. George, it will still continue. So I hope let it will continue. So that's just it. Like I already like it's part of my agenda. So it's just because the Mercedes is not that fast. Maybe when it is fast, you will see more than that. So me, I'm enjoying it. Like also Mercedes fans can be talking about one driver and the other. Wow, that's brilliant. And my last thing that I want to say is that if we two now say that yes, so the team are building toward this now, if you cook that kind of thing because Leeds is winning it's ahead now, they will say that yes, because no, it's not like that. And we don't have the number one driver. We don't do this, we don't do that. We are different from Red Bull because this and that. No, 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 no. You guys are building towards Leeds now because Leeds is Russell. Russell has not said anything about the car like that he enjoys it. Leeds that enjoys it and this is the one winning. It seems you guys are building towards one driver. So I think that's very good also. So that's just what I want to say. Thank you.
Read one.
Can I just add?
Okay, go ahead, Yemi.
I just wanted to add that I think the team is also wiser to Russell's antics now. Who remembers the Dutch Grand Prix last year? That was a chance for Lewis to win. And then Russell was like, oh guys, pit me. He basically bullied the team into like pitting him. And the team genuinely lost a potential 1-2. Because the truth is Russell what Russell should have done if they were playing the team game last in that race was Russell should have actually he should have delayed Max, right, from pitting. Like if I recall, was he ahead of Max or something like that, right? So Lewis, he should have let Lewis pit, right, to get the fresh tires, and then also should have slowed down and got delayed. Did you get stop? I mean, delayed Max in the pit lane now. However, as much as possible because you can't overtake 3 yellows. But that would have been the ideal team player scenario. That would have given him a very strong chance of getting a 1-2 in that race. Instead, what happened? what happened? It bullied the team into pitting before Lewis, and then Lewis obviously didn't pit. Max pitted. Max overtook him, then overtook Lewis, and he then overtook Lewis. So, at the end of the day, I think the team is now wiser to his antics because he does that. He does that a lot. He's always thinking about himself all the time. And I think so he will continue to behave like that, no doubt. But I think the team will also not necessarily. I mean, look at today now. They didn't even answer the guy. It's like this is like half a job for me. That was the vibe they gave the guy, man. So ultimately, we'll see. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that so some of these things need to be like I mean I understand everyone's problem with George. I feel the same way, particularly today, not even with other races. But I think that some of the decisions need to be at team level. I mean, with the example that Yemi just gave, I get that's just one example. But the team needs to say, listen, we want to keep you out so that, you know, we can get maximum points. How about you hold Verstappen, let us. I mean, other teams do it all the time. So I think that some of the decisions need to come from a team level and not George. Because George is probably just thinking, I mean, he's probably just thinking about himself, to be honest. He's racing a 7-time world champion. He's trying to be, the it guy. Of course, he wants to be able to say that, listen, I beat my teammates. I don't know, but I guess so. But some of the decisions need to come from a team level. Because if I was George, I'll be thinking about my race, not necessarily about what Lewis is doing behind. Right. So the team needs to tell me XYZ, XYZ, and then let George refuse, and then we say, okay, he refused. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I don't support what he did today, but I think that some of these things need to happen at a management level.
Thank you very much, Anabang. A real one.
Sorry that we are still talking about this thing. But the thing is that I was hearing that if you hold up marks or something like that or stuff like that. But if I can remember clearly at Zandvoort at Dutch Grand Prix last year, when Max was behind Louis, Max overtook Louis straight up, straight up from the line. Like he even had to slow down before he could overtake Louis because he does not want to overtake him before he gets to the line. Because I'm not understanding this hold up marks or something like that. Even Louis, the same world champion, couldn't hold up marks. Is it now Rossi that will now hold up marks? Uh, because I'm not understanding
I'm not
that
sure this was
that
Zandvoort. I'm not sure that race was Zandvoort, to be honest. I think it was a different race. I don't think it was
It
Zandvoort.
was in Hungary, and I
I
don't
know
know
that
why you keep saying let him refuse. He has refused on a number of occasions, and you keep
what
saying that you can't remember him saying that, but he has. So I know you have a soft spot for him, but he
let me
is full of shit.
let me tell you something. The Hungary race, Russell was second, Lewis was coming, and I think the what I'm not sure because I can't remember everything, but it seems that maybe it's the team. Why am I even talking about this thing? So what I'm just saying that the one that we are talking about is the Dutch Grand Prix. But what happened in Hungary was that Lewis was coming and Russell was P2. Maybe the team told that as far Mercedes, Mercedes doesn't do let him through all those stuff like that. Yes, you are racing him. That's how Mercedes do. That's the team culture. I think that's what happened then. And they raced each other, and Lewis won the battle, and Lewis finished P2. But the one that I'm talking about, Dutch Grand Prix, because that one that I'm talking about, where Lewis couldn't put up Max because I don't think Russell will be able to do that. Even if Russell stood still, if Max overtook him, I'm pretty sure he will overtake Lewis. So I don't get where that one is coming from. So thank you.
No, no, no. Let me explain myself, right? What I'm saying was, there was a safety car towards the end of that race, right? And what ended up happening was Max was able to pit for new tires. So was George able to pit for new tires. Lewis wasn't able to pit for new tires. Right. I remember him saying, "Oh, you guys fucked me, blah blah blah." Do you get? Because he also look, and I'm saying that if had George, I think George was I think there was an opportunity for George to doing the safety car because I think was it not Perez?
He came
Was it
in. He
Perez or no?
came
It was
in for
Snowda.
new. He came
I
in for
believe it
new
was Snowda
tires
that
without
it
permission.
was Snowda that that did not, he stopped and he didn't park properly, and then there was like safety car or vest, whatever the case is. There was an opportunity for Lewis to come into the if they were playing a team game, there was an opportunity for Lewis to come into the pit as well and get first. I thought it started being Lewis, George, Max. I may be getting it wrong, but that's how I remember it, right? Lewis, George, Max. Obviously, Max would have overtaken. But what I'm saying is that it was like what, maybe less than 10 laps left in that race. And there was a chance if you have a George, a Lewis on fresh tires, and then they had a chance. Yeah, you are saying and Max over. Of course, I mean, Max was in a faster car, so definitely. And, so he would have definitely had a better chance to overtake the two drivers. But it would have been so Mercedes would have had a better chance of at least defending had Lewis been on new tires. George took the matter. Well, not like he took the matters into his own hand. He obviously was looking out for himself. The team succumbed. If so, I can say yes, I put it on the team because the team should have said, hey, we're backing, the strongest driver so far in this race, which has been Lewis. Let's play a team game and maximize points, right? So what ended up being was a potential 1-2 in that race became a second, third, with their stronger driver being third, which when you look at it, doesn't make sense, right? I get the sense that this year the team they've gathered brain, and if you look at their narrative, they're saying, look, we're going to get Lewis the eight. It's clear to them now that they have to get him the eight. The sooner they can get Lewis the eight, the sooner he himself can go and focus on other things he wants to do and move on with his life. Do you understand? So that's what I'm trying to say, Ridwan. I'm not saying obviously Max would have, he would have most likely won that race regardless, but they would have had a better chance because there were not many laps left, if I recall correctly. Thanks.
There were
Okay,
11
so
laps left.
okay,
Hold on, please. There were 11 laps left, and Max relinquished the position on track for fresher tires, and Lewis overtook on track. Like clearly, when there was a safety car, both has blah 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 blah. So I yes, I agree with lots of I agree with most almost everyone on Russell's behavior majority of time because as I said, I genuinely don't like him. But for that Dutch Grand Prix, he only outsmarted and he thought about himself. And he's a racing driver. He has to think about himself. So if we're going to be blaming anybody for whatsoever happened in the Dutch Grand Prix of last year, it's the team we should blame. If the team saw that they pitted, if the team saw that Red Bull was pitting for fresh tires, nothing stopped them from pitting Lewis as well. And if I recall correctly, the because of the incident on track, everybody was passing through the pit lane with the safety car. And I think they moved through the pit lane multiple times. So why didn't the team at least even attempt to pit Lewis once? At least even if they miss the first opportunity, what about the second opportunity? So while
You are,
we
you are
dislike
missing the point, Made. You are twisting things. If they pitted
how am
Lewis,
I
Max would have overtaken. So they're trying to, and what you don't get it. Max, you said Max relinquished, right? Okay, fine. They were trying to protect the lead. If they were playing the team game, there was an opportunity in the pit lane stops for George to have held up Max, right? And giving Lewis the chance to overtake. You're in a safety car. If you pit, in fact, Lewis would have probably lost 10, 15 places because all the cars are bunched up together. There was a crucial moment. So I agree with you. Yes, it's not George is looking out for himself. Fine, right? The team are the ones that succumbed to all the and
so
they should
if
have
you
actually thought
agree
ahead
that
of that.
George was looking out for himself, why are you now still blaming George?
I just said that he would. Did I not just say, guys? Did I not just say that this is the team's fault? Before you came up, I said it's the team's fault, but you didn't hear. So sorry about that. If you didn't hear, but I just said that the team's fault. It was the team's. Ultimately, it was the team's fault. But this year they are wiser to it. That's what I said. So what are you saying?
okay, so let me just like the thing is that maybe you've forgotten about what happened during that race. Maybe you can just watch the highlights back because as I remember that race, yes, the two Mercedes drivers started on hard tires. So I remember very well. They started on hard tires. Max started on medium. So I think Max pitted first. Max was on hard. So Max was on hard. So when the race was going good, like Max has pitted a long time. So people are like, when Mercedes, the Mercedes, they were already catching up to Max. Fine, people already people already anxious that won't they pit Max again or something like that. So when they now pitted Lewis and George, I think I'm not sure the person that they pitted for. So they pitted both of them to medium. So after that, so that's when this safety car issue came about. Then Max had to pit. So there's no how like it was just there like maybe it's just a little some laps that Lewis has used on that medium, and to restart on a medium is not that good against a soft. So both of them were on medium. Max was third. So when Russell saw that Max was on fresh new soft, so that's when he said, yes, let let me come in. So what I just think, what I think that the Mercedes team could have done is that they could have pitted Lewis, and maybe they pitted Lewis or something like that. So for him to have another stuff, even maybe double stack both of them for them, like if the safety car have not bunched the team up then. So maybe they'll just be second and third and Max first, and they will to fight from in. But I think Mercedes wanted Lewis to be in the front, and then George just made his last call and they just had to pick him like that. Maybe that's what happened in that race. So that's it. But as I'm saying,
You're not
thank,
done.
I'm done. I'm done. Thank you. I don't want
Okay,
to
no.
cook
Okay.
anything. Let's move on. Thank
Okay,
you.
no. If you want to carry on, you can carry on. No. I thought you were done.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, no, that I need to be serving some points on this space. Like I need to be serving them as it's coming. I need to be giving them back to back. You understand that? So now, like what I have just said before, that this Lewis and George too, I'm enjoying it. It's just that Ferrari are not just giving me what I want this season. Charles and Carlos, but they are not giving me that. But this one, I'm enjoying it. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Just be-
I think I have something to say on what these guys are arguing about. Um, I think if George has because I also watched the analysis that Sky Sport did on that particular stuff, and with what I saw, because I'm rewatching the highlight right now. Um, if George had held Max back, because Max pitted already as at the safety car time, so he came out at the back of what's the name, George, if I remember well. Well, if George had held Max back for Lewis to pit, Lewis would have pitted on soft, agreed, but George would have lost his place also and be third. So Max, in my opinion, I believe Max will still have like taking that position away from Lewis because Max had the better car that day. So that's just that's just what I think, though. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Guys, please forward ever, backward never. I just got and beg you people. You get me? Okay. Moving on. Um.
Okay, already moving on. But Yemi did not answer me.
Ridwan, what's your questions? Say it again.
I asked him that is he not enjoying this era as he enjoyed the last era. So yeah, no, he did not answer me.
Jamie, over to you. Are you enjoying this Red Bull era of domination as when you were previously at the top?
Yeah, I always enjoy watching Lewis race. I mean the rest of the racing. Don't ask me. Look at the ratings now. Viewership is declining. Even the commercial right holders are also looking away. They are trying to find a way to focus the attention of the sport or the spotlight on other drivers, including Lewis, right? Who's not even in a car that is, championship worthy. It tells you the kind of champion that you people are. So, I mean, I always enjoy watching. I mean, deep down, I mean, I'm an F1 fan, right? So I love watching Formula One. I can watch the cars go around ultimately, but the era is quite boring to be honest. And Max is also a boring champion. At least when Lewis was around, we had drama. He was in a team that allowed the teammates to fight each other. I mean, look at 14, 15, 16. That era, Hamilton versus Rosberg. That era had no business being as competitive as it was, given, and it was all because Mercedes let both of them race. And we had 2 years of serious battle, tension, right? So it was, at least, and then we got an era after that, 17, 18, 19, we got Hamilton versus Vettel. Do you get so? It was 20 and 21. So 20 was maybe the only year I would say, okay, that was the year where Hamilton truly dominated. And then 21, we got, Hamilton versus Verstappen. So ultimately, when you say Mercedes dominated, it wasn't, maybe it was burning for Red Bull fans because you guys, your team was failing back then. And I mean, there's don't blame me for that. It's not my fault. But my point is, there were other reasons. If we had, for example, this season would be much more fun if we had Perez battling Max. But we know that team is built around Max, and there's nothing Perez can do. Even on the days when he's quicker, the team will find a way to make sure that Max finishes ahead. So, well, this is almost like similar to Michael Schumacher type era where Michael had an unfair advantage, Bridgestone special tires for him, the guy do unlimited testing. It's similar to that for Max, right? The car is built for him. You know, everybody is, all the whole team is around him. I mean, so at the end of the day, there's nothing, there's nothing worse than at least if you have a dominant car, that's fine. Let's spice shit up. Let's see people race. Let the teammates race against each other and everything. So far it has been quite boring if you ask me. I think Perez has tried his best. I thought he had a horrible weekend. Like I'm sorry, very very shit weekend from Perez. Embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself. I don't understand what kind of driving he did. But anyways, it's what it is. But yes, so Reed, want to answer your question, this era, I enjoy watching F1 always, but don't ask me. Ask the rest of the people that are not watching F1 again. The viewership has been declining, year on year. Don't ask me. Go and ask them. Thank you.
Yeah, Ridwan, you
And
what you're
I'm
looking
not
for,
saying,
you've gotten it, Nabi.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good,
I understand. Let's move on. Thank you.
good. Moving on. So yeah, Alpha Tauri, Nick De Vries, Nick De Vries. I'm not mistaken. This is the first time this season, or since Bahrain, that is finishing race. Which is very impressive. As he said, he's getting to familiar tracks. I hope that as the calendar comes, he moves from familiar to well-known tracks because that will be very essential for him if he wants to continue to have a career in this sport. But P12, you know, um, in a very tight Monaco, I believe
Can you guys hear me by any chance?
I believe that's the best result you could have achieved. And what's his name? Yuki had issues with I believe the brake balance or so. So hence why Toib, you asked earlier on that if Lando used DRS, and then I told you it was because Yuki was about almost 6 seconds slower than Lando, due to the issues with the brake. Even when they tried to encourage him to go faster, that's why he said, okay, do you guys want me to crash or what? Meaning that he probably didn't have a lot of confidence in the car. So I guess that's it with AlphaTauri. Would though the car looks better than the previous rounds. It's going to be interesting to see where they are in Spain, Barcelona. For as compared with the, no, I don't know. This is now, Seth. I'm even trying to. Seth, what are really the midfield teams this season? Because um The midfield is not even so defined again because we have Haas, Williams. The competition is quite tight, But hopefully, after they can um have a better run in Barcelona. But yeah, okay. Anyone wants to chip in on AlphaTauri? Nobody wants to send. Okay. Read one. What do you have, please?
Okay, so like today's race, it still shows where exactly where they are still lacking. So I did say I think race pace wise, they are still lacking in yeah, at that aspect. So, but if they can build on from what they did this weekend, and both drivers can build on it, and what UK has been doing since the start of the season, and now the race is now on European tracks now. So let's see how they will move on. But I think like the car is becoming like today, even before the play, like before when it was dry, McLaren were not able to close down on Yuki. It was when it was wet and brake issue something, and I think race pace wise they are doing well. So let's just see everything. I think, but I just feel something is going on within the camp. But I think with within the racing team, like on track, I think they are improving. So I wait till Barcelona. I'm expecting upgrades or any updates from them. So let's see how it goes. So that's for me.
Sorry, quick question. Speaking about upgrades, are we? Is anyone expecting their team to bring upgrades in Barcelona again?
Not Red Bull. I don't know.
You guys have reached budget cap.
And no. I don't think so. Why is not that? How many upgrades have you brought this season? I don't think it's not even much. No. I don't think so.
Okay. Let's have Yemi, please.
I have a question, please, for the I guess I'm for whoever is able to answer. So I really don't understand this Red Bull penalty, this their cost cap penalty thing. How does it work? Is it that I thought it was supposed to be in effect from last year? Are they currently, because I keep hearing, commentary saying, oh, when it kicks in. When what kicks in, please? I thought they're already serving the reduced wind tunnel time. Can someone just explain to me?
Okay, so the thing about the as I read about the Red Bull penalty is that it started when they were given, and that's October last year. So, and by before October last year, I think the team had already started building the RB19. So, when people say that when it kicks in, it's maybe at the start of next season or at the end of the season. That's when it will kicks in. So I think that's when you should be expecting the penalty. But I don't think at the beginning of the season, because even Christian said that he wants the team to be able to gather much points at the beginning of the season. So whatever happens at the end of the season, let's see what will happen then. Even I think that's what I've been saying also. So let's get the point I want to get now. And what happens when at the end of the season and maybe at the beginning of next season. So let's see what will happen. So I think that's what I've read and all the podcasts that I've listened to about the penalty. That's what I've heard about it. But I'm not that sure. So thank you.
Sorry,
What they think?
it's like I'm even more confused now. I'm even
No, no,
more
no, no. Just
confused now.
can you hear me?
Yeah, engineer, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
can hear.
No, no. What they mean by when it kicks in is the penalty is basically aerodynamic hours. So, and aerodynamic testing will not clearly not show immediately. It's not as if you're turning down the amount of fuel that is going into the power unit or you're turning down the power unit completely. So you're clearly not going to see the effects immediately. So that's why even when we're having all this conversation about the penalty, I think last season, I said
would most likely know the effect of their penalty in 2024 because they're going to scale through 2023 as at the time they already given them the penalty. So what people mean by when it kicks in is when the effect kicks in. The penalty is already in effect because they have reduced altogether. They've calculated their ultimate aerodynamic has to be 63% instead of 70 something percent because they were forced or so. So it is when the actual effects start to kick in because they have reduced wind tunnel time to test items and turn that to performance on track. Yep.
Thank you very much, Imade. Thank you for that. Okay, Clinton, do you want to chip in on Alpha Tari?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
sorry, I apologize. I've missed most of the conversation. So, as far as aerodynamics goes, and the penalty that Red Bull is facing, I don't think any of that is relevant now, because we all got to see the floor of the Red Bull, and there's multiple close-up photographs and video, and it clearly shows that Mercedes and Ferrari have not understood how to develop a ground effects car and floor in the Venturi tunnels. And so right now, I don't think it matters how much time any team has in the wind tunnel. I think it's going to have very little impact on this season because it's very clear, based off of the floor that we saw from Red Bull, that they have a superior car that is in a whole other league when it comes to the engineering of the floor. And so I think all of the teams, including Mercedes, are basically going to scrap their existing floor designs that they have now after what they saw on the Red Bull, and they're all going to bring out new floor designs for next season. And it's pretty clear to me, anyways. Like, you know, when I saw that, and I listened to a number of experts that understand Venturi tunnels and vacuum and things like that, that the Red Bull's on a whole other level. So I think we owe, Checo Perez a big thank you for his accident, because it gave us a real opportunity to see exactly what the advantage is that Red Bull has over everybody else. The other thing I just want to say about today's race, the thing I found most annoying, specifically about George Russell, was when he said on the radio, "Oh, if you let Lewis and I change spaces, I promise not to exceed 5 seconds." Like he's talking as if he can beat Lewis by more than 5 seconds, and I found that really, really annoying. And I realize George Russell's in it for himself, and he wants to be a Formula One champion. But that kind of nonsense today, I think, is going to sow dissent in the Mercedes team between himself and Lewis. And I'm quite certain that Lewis has probably heard those radio recordings since the race had finished a couple of hours ago now. So, I think that things are going to get a little more uncomfortable at Mercedes. And lastly, Ferrari, complete and total disaster with their strategies again. And all props to Ocon. I mean, he put on a great race today. We got a podium, and he did some pretty good defensive driving, and was able to do pretty good defensive driving in the rain. So I think it was a well-deserved drive of the day for Ocon. But I do think now that Mercedes has seen the floor of the Red Bull, that the 2024 Mercedes is going to be completely redesigned, and it is going to end up looking just like the Red Bull. So, anyways, I'll place myself on mute, and I just want to listen to everybody else.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone want to reply to what Clinton said, or probably chip in to AlphaTauri just before we move on to McLaren? Yeah, Miss Catchrock, please go ahead.
Is anyone speaking?
Sorry. Hi, guys. Can everyone?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I don't
Yeah,
know
I
what.
can hear you.
Okay,
I
so
can hear
yeah.
you.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened, but okay, yeah. Moving on. McLaren. A team that scored points. So McLaren, have both teams scored points in. I'm not sure both drivers have scored points this season, but if they've not, this is a very good performance for them, especially on a track like what do you call it, Monaco. So um well, I believe they brought in some upgrades, but which were Imola upgrades, but I guess we're not going to see the effect till next week. But whatever they brought in this week, it seems to have a bit of improvement as to where they were in the previous weeks. But yeah, don't even know who wants to chip in on McLaren.
To be honest about McLaren, it's just that today's race does not really show where they are because when it was dry, they were not that fast. They were just still behind they were behind Yuki, but I think during the wet they were very fast because I heard that Lando was the fastest on track, almost like 3 seconds faster than even Max, even Max or something like that. I think, but we don't know. We can't really say. We can't really tell that their true performance till Barcelona or until we can actually tell that is the team improving or are they regress or something like that. So for me, it's till Barcelona before I can actually make a point about McLaren because with the way they are moving, I think they need to start improving, and they've got two brilliant drivers also. So they can't keep doing what they did at the start of the season. But today's race was good. But I'm not sure. I think did they score points at Australia after everything that happened? I think both drivers scored points at Australia. I can't really remember, but I knew that what's his name? Piastri scored points at his home race, but I'm not sure. I forgot about Lando, but I think Lando did. But I think they did well today also, both the drivers and the points. I think that's good for them. That is for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. You're right. But both drivers did score points in Australia. So Piastri P8, Lando P 6. So yeah. But okay. Still on McLaren. Does anyone want to chip in? Anyway, just before anyone comes up, I was just going to say I don't know. I would like to know what Oscar Piastri is really thinking in his head. Because in his head now, will it be like, "Ah, I would have just stayed in Alpine? Possibly he could have been the one on the podium today or something. I would really love to know what's going on in his head, or whether he's just satisfied that he's wearing papaya yellow and he's hoping for the best. But yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting. But I don't know what anyone thinks. But sorry, let me just quickly add, with this pressure that Alpine are currently facing from this year CEO, I think the environment would have not. I don't know if it would have been conducive for Piastri, to put pressure on a rookie, but if they're already putting pressure on Otmar now, then I feel that pressure would have one way or the other transcended to the drivers and then the likes of Piastri if it was still um with Alpine. But yeah, okay. Does
Okay,
anyone? Yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
So like about this, what you just said now about the Alpine thing, I just feel like the pressure the owner or the CEO, Rossi was giving the team. I don't think maybe he's expecting more from them, maybe because of what Aston Martin did. But I think Piastri, I don't think it will be conducive for him because he's a rookie, and for them to be open for him now being, let's say him being at Alpine now, and for a rookie like them expecting him to bring in home points every week because yes, the car is good, but it will not be conducive for him. I just feel like him going to even let's say even if McLaren is, but I don't think there's any pressure at McLaren. Those guys, I don't think there's any pressure there at all because they even if they do not score points, they will still say yes, brilliant team effort, all those stuff like that. Yes, we learn from this to this. There's no one pressuring them, but I don't think it will be conducive for Piastri. He is at Alpine with what is happening to them right now. I don't think it will be conducive for him. So, but I just feel like Well, now is you just know that yes, I'm racing. I'm in McLaren. Things will be good, and it is McLaren. I think they've been able to come up like after bad things have happened to them, and let's see what will happen. But I just need he just needs to have in his head that yes, I'm ready. I'm a racer, and I'm in McLaren, and he should hope for the best. He should not be thinking about well whether what about if I have been at Alpine or something like that. It just affects him. So that's it. That's my opinion.
So you should not aim higher.
It's
Yeah,
not like he should not aim higher. But even if he wants to aim higher and be thinking about the Alpine, like what about if I'm in the Alpine seat? It might actually just destroy his confidence or something like that, or whatever he like is using to like is coping with. So something like that. So it might still like, but you just know that is in its rookie season and it's actually doing well, at least for a rookie. So maybe after next season, but now start thinking that oh, I'm no more a rookie. What about if I've been at Alpine? I'll be like fighting for fourth, fifth, all those things like that. So, but right now that is a rookie, you shouldn't be thinking about that. Thank you.
thank you very much, Ridwan. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Uh, okay. Where were we? Let's move down to Okay, but just before move on to Alpha. Okay. Jibala, do you want to say anything on
Yeah, thanks.
the current?
Uh, Pick on Piastri because I mean, if you know, I have stocks in Piastri, and I think he did quite well today. Like for the most part, he was around the points, so 10, 11, he was just around there hanging in. And I think he kept up well with Norris. So over the season, he's been unlucky, right? He's had a couple of challenges with Sky and all of those things. But I think today he showed like, yeah, he's got a bit of it in him. And I think obviously it's his first season, but I think if like the car continues to be decent for him, right, he's going to show everyone that like, yeah, he's a solid racer. So today just like, helped showcase that. And I'm really happy for him and yeah, Nick DeVries as well. Happy for two of them. That's just what I wanted to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jibala. Thank you so much. Need to freeze. Okay. But yeah, moving on. I'm sure one of the positives of this weekend is that Nick DeFries is not even the is not the 20th driver, he's the 19th driver. Because he finished ahead of Logan Sargent today, so he moved up to 19th. But yeah, credit to him, step by step. Okay. Okay. So, oops. Sorry. Does anyone want to chip in on McLaren just before we move on to Alfa Romero, please? Okay. Um, Alfa Romero. Okay, but Bottas finishing P11. Joe P13. Compared to where I believe where both drivers started yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, both drivers didn't get out of Q1, which which obviously didn't look good, but making their way up to P11, P13, yeah, no points, but it's still a positive on their part. I guess for them Monaco is just a weekend to write off and then they look forward to Spain, but um I don't know. I personally I didn't expect anything from Alfa Romero coming into this weekend because at the end of the day we all know it's Monaco is a bit of is a bit of a sticky one. But yeah, um, but Bottas on the off track. As I said, his investments booming. If anyone is going to Spa for the Grand Prix, Bottas has package for Spa. So you might secure your package now and early enough. It's quite cheap. And cheap as compared to the original Formula One packages. But yeah, and then exclusive, you get to relax in the paddock. So yeah, anyone wants to chip in on Bottas, Alfa Romero, and Joe?
Okay, so what I just want to say about Alfa Romeo is that though that team they've regressed a lot. They've regressed a lot. Like right now, I would say they are the worst team this season. They did not. They are not even showing any kind of improvement at all. Like for based fine, let's say based on what happened at the start of last season. Yes, what happened at the start of last season? They were able to score points at the start of last season. From the second half of last season was where this problem started. Like they regressed backward, regressed and still backward. The two together. Like I just don't understand them because at the start, before the start of the season, during preseason testing, everyone was on Alfa Romeo that yes, they are expecting something big from them. Yes, their car is stiff, something like now they are not even us is better than them. We can clearly see what Williams are doing. You can clearly say yes, Williams fine on longer tracks. On longer track, we can see yes, that car is good on straight line. Yes, fine. Williams are Williams are out qualifying them. So what exactly are they doing this season? I don't just get it. Like for they are the worst team.
Ridwan, let me quickly say something. Do you think since Fred Vasseur has left, because obviously there's been a change of management. If there's change of management, there's going to be change of direction, basically. So do you think that has affected them? Fred Vasseur going to Ferrari, new team principal. You know.
Okay, so that might be one of the reasons why they've been bad this season. But even when Fred was still there at the start of like till the end of last season, it's just the performance at the end of last season and the beginning of this season is just still the same, like still the same to me. So I'm not seeing any difference, but the difference I can only see is just that they are just bad this season. That car, I don't on like. I can't say one thing like this that this where that car is good at. I can't say at all. Like performance from both drivers is not even good. Joe, this is second season and he's performing like that. Fine, that guy is good, but the car is not even that good at all. I don't like even the team. I'm not even hearing anything from them. Like the recent news that I had from them is that maybe it's not even about them. It's not even about them at all. Even upgrades, no, we've not had anything about upgrades. It's just only about Bota's business. That's the only thing that I can say that I can use to associate to that thing. And Joe's fancy clothes. That's the thing only. But within the team, we don't even know what is going on. There's no news about them. There's nothing like on track also. I just don't understand. I just don't. It's just like how we complained about us. Even us last season, fine. Us last season enjoyed Ferrari's engine at the start of the season. They were able to. Magnussen was scoring points. Both of them, and both Alfa Romeo and us enjoyed Ferrari's engine last season at the start of last season. Us is even doing well than Alfa Romeo this season. So where exactly is the? They do not have team principal. they are calling him representative or what? I've even forgotten how his name is even called. Say that man's name. They are saying that representative or something like that. Nothing principal, nothing. And when I watched their launch, it will be like they'll be competing with McLaren this season. But no, they are just bad. For me, I don't know how I can rate them, but if I want to rate them, it's 0 this season. So that's it for me. At all. I'm not seeing anything. There's no positive from them at all. So that's it.
Jibala, go ahead before I make my point.
We don't free this game. Why are you attacking his passion? You know, there's a dear ambassador. It's not easy to be a passion guy after Lewis. It's him. Oh. But I think for them, honestly, I think they're just focused on when Audi comes into Formula One because like they just carried over from last season, poor developments, all of that. So I honestly don't think like we should expect much from them. Yeah, I don't think we should expect much from them. I think they're just focused on when Audi fully enters. And the only news I heard about them lately was that um what's it called now? Pass me partner up with Alfa Romeo at the end of this season or so. So that's it. But I think we should just pray them because they're obviously not trying to be competitive this season. It just looks like everything is focused towards when Audi is fully into Formula One.
Thank you very much, Jibala. Okay, Miss Castro, go ahead.
I think the problem that they have is that the car is unreliable, and I rather suspect that it's a money problem because their title sponsorship is ending, which means they're at the tail end of their sponsorship contract, which is the last bit of money. So it feels as though they don't have enough money to put in the pot to compete on the same as everybody else because now they're talking to Haas about getting money from MoneyGram, and I'm like, what? What about your own sponsors? And how are you not able to like secure your own independent sponsorship deals? That's just very strange.
Thank you very much, Miss Castro. I think the thing with Alfa Romero is that it's not that I don't think personally I don't think Haas Haas is scoring has scored more points. 8 points, Alfa Romero 6, I believe. But the thing why Haas looks like they're having a better season is because nobody's crashing, basically. So it looks like everything is going on fine with Haas, they are doing well. But performance wise they are not far off. They are still where they used to be, just that they've scored more points, which is I believe 8 and Alfa Romero 6. So yeah. But okay. Still on Sauber, because I think sometimes when we say Alfa Romero, it's a bit sometimes we might be some of us might be referring to the car brand itself and not the F1 team. But yeah, still on Alfa Romero Sauber. Anyone wants to chip in?
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So, according to what Ridwan said, I don't think Haas are better than Sauber F1 team. Because if you even watch today's race, Bottas finished 11th. He was close to the point. And again, judging midfield teams this season is like I don't know, Sha, because we have Red Bull, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Ferrari, and Alpine as like the top teams. Even if Alpine we know they're on and off, they can come next week now. I will not see them in Q2 sef. But still, I think Haas are not in any way better than Alfa Romeo, even if yes, since I think since after the first few races of last season, they've dropped off massively. They've not shown any sign of improvement with their performance or anything. Even strategically, they are very bad. I don't even know. Did Joe even participate in today's race? I did not see him anywhere at all. I couldn't even I was even mistaking their cars for Ferrari. Like, so for Alfa Romeo, if they are waiting for the Audi sponsorship to kick in the next 3 years, I don't know where they will be next year and next 2 years. It's just like what has did in 2021, waiting for the new this thing. Then they had to like scrape off the whole of the year. If that's what they want to do too, I could imagine where they will be next year, next 2 years. Which drivers will they be with? Is it Bottas that will be there driving 1920 like Mazepin and Schumacher? So I don't know for them, Sha. Let's see. Let's see if we hear any news. The only news we heard today was that Alfa Romeo was planning to be the new titles this of Haas from next year, something like that. I don't know for them, but let's watch. Sha.
Okay. So I think for sorry, no, I think for Sauber, you understand me? Let me clarify that it's not a sponsorship rule. They are coming in as a works team. So coming in with their own engine and um yeah, everything that forms a team. But I don't know. I know how they said they started recruiting for their F1 team. So I wonder how that affects Sauber internally as to their current employees. So maybe are they losing people behind the scenes and then people are being replaced? Hence the um, lack of performance. But I don't know. And unnecessary can't unnecessary can't pinpoint where it's going wrong for Alfa Romero. But yeah, let's see. Hopefully we'll see Andres very soon because Andres is on exile from the paddock. I'm not sure anyone has seen him in recent times, but yeah. Okay. Does anyone else still want to chip in on Alfa Romero, please? I'll move on to Haas. Okay, so Haas. Okay. Unfortunately, Magnussen retiring, and then did came up. What's his name? Did this guy also retire as well? I'm not even sure. What's his name? I think he finished. Okay, yeah, he finished P17. So yeah, he got to the finish line. P17. Which is alright. But I don't know. I, the only improvement I can say is that there have not been crashes, that will bring about any issue with budget cap, so they don't have that excuse this season, as to how their development is going to go. But one thing I noticed today, when the race started was that okay, I'm sure everybody's eyes were on Ferrari, where on when Ferrari were going to pit. But if we notice, Haas were not even thinking of pitting. My feeling is that they were just waiting to see what Ferrari were going to do. Then they would just go ahead and do the same thing. Because I don't know why they had Magnussen on mediums when majority of the field have gone to inters, and then they put him on tires. They now want to go and put him on wet when the field is on. I don't know, but I believe when sponsor brings money, the money is meant to be shared equally. You pump the money in different places, car development, strategy, everything. So that everything works as a uniform whole. But in this situation, I don't know I cannot understand what happened today with Haas's this thing. And then I personally I blame the team for them keeping him out because they were trying to be smart that did not lead them to anywhere. But yeah, okay, do you want to go ahead, Kuala Lumpur?
Okay, thank you. Now for us, that team, I don't know if they even have any plan of their own. I'm not sure they have any plan of their own because this same thing happened last year in Japan.
when everybody were pitting for intermediate, they left Schumacher on wet, hoping the rain will fall harder. I don't understand. People don't have radar in your this thing. Okay, this year now they reduce their pit wall from the normal 6 to 8 to 3. You're only 3 in the pit wall. What's his name? Gunther and 2 other people. Like how? You say you're saving money. You're saving money. I don't understand. There's a budget cap. You're saving money again for what? Like you're saving money for what? Okay, now today you left Magnussen on hard. Was it hard or medium? On hard tires, trying to see if they will bring yellow flag or red flag. Magnussen was in 17th, I'll be 18th. You left him on hard tire to see if they will bring out a red flag. For okay, even if they bring out a red flag now, what will you do with it? Like what will you do with it? It will not skyrocket you to anywhere. The track was wet. Pit him, no. Like the team doesn't have that's why I disagree with grade one when he said Haas are better than Alfa Romeo. I disagree honestly because at least Alfa Romeo will still make some good decisions. But that Haas, I don't even know why they're still keeping Gunter. Whether it's Netflix that's paying them to keep Gunter there. Because that guy is not doing anything. He's just a content creator for Netflix, nothing else. Thank you.
Well, for what do you call it, for house, um, I don't know. I think I've said in the past that Gunther needs to go, but you see a team like Haas here. Anybody that is going into Haas is walking into a mess of a team. It's not just a team that is stable or like I'm sure any team principal that walks into Haas now. You see the way James Vance went into Williams and he's saying that the systems they are using there, it's not up to date, they need to move forward. I promise you you are going to see something worse in House, because it doesn't look like they try to even develop. Everything they are just keen on doing is saving money, saving money, saving money, saving money. Even down to Twitter tick. They are going for the cheaper one than the one their fellow organizations are paying for. I don't know. Everything is saving money, saving money. Okay, now the saving money is not reflecting in performance. It's not reflecting in strategy. It's not reflecting in thinking. The only thing as I said, the only thing that makes us different from the previous years is they don't have drivers that are crashing again, and then it just makes them look like a stable team. You understand? But yeah, that's just my take on House with this whole thing. But yeah, does anyone still want to chip in on House? Okay. Let's move on to Williams. Um, Alex Albon and Logan Sargent. Um, Sargent. Today, beginning of the race, he was just under immense pressure that he couldn't handle, and I don't know whether it's the pressure of Monaco, but if that's the case, he just couldn't handle it, which was understandable because at the end of it, not everyone is able to handle the pressure. Some people handle it differently. Some put in the wall, some lose positions, and I think for what's his name, Sargent, it was the latter. Losing positions and not able to hold on to the position he had from the start. I'm not even, where did he even start again? Sef? This boy, where did he even start? But yeah, Albon. I'm not sure anyone expected anything from Albon because if you understand the Williams car, you know that a truck like Monaco is not in any way their strong suit. So um, for them, it's just a weekend to write off and move on to the next one, which is Spain. But Spain as well. I going into Spain, I don't even think it's going to be a strong weekend for them as well because of the characteristics of the track. But Who knows? Let's see what they have in store. But yeah, anyone want to chip in on Williams? Okay. Okay. So does anyone? I think we've covered all the teams, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Does anyone want to chip in anything? Or add anything in regards to today, next week, or what they expect? Just before we round up. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So okay, Charlie.
Hello,
Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
good evening, all. I don't have anything important to say, only that I hope George has a very good telling off this evening, tomorrow, and for the rest of the week for his nonsense behaviour. And I don't want to ever see that nonsense behaviour again because I'm tired of it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Simple and short. Okay, Yoda, please go ahead. Thank you.
Hamilton fans are plenty here. Oh. But that's not even what I came to say. F1 Nigeria, me, you have to clap for yourself, man. You're a funny guy. I dey see your tweet, they laugh every single day. The Hamilton qualifying, our qualifying was so, yeah, that was jokes, man. But love to everyone. Wait till next week, by the grace of God.
Thank you very much, Yoda. Much appreciated. Uh, does anyone want to? Okay, read one.
Okay, so like, and I just want to say like thank you for today. So it was quite amazing. Like I'd never say it was like there were many people share so, but today was fun. But I think for next week, we will see the true pace of many teams. So till then.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Um, thank you for everyone attending the event. So, to those of you that attended the event, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Hey, okay, Henry? Because all I'm saying is Kuala Lumpur. So, yeah, Henry, please go ahead. Okay, your hand is now up again.
Okay. Okay. I heard something during the race today. I don't know where they said McLaren you are bringing a B spec car to Austria or Silverstone. Something. I don't know if it's true. If anybody heard it too.
Uh, Ridwan, do you want to say anything?
Yes, I think I add that also that they are preparing another kind of maybe big upgrade for Silverstone. I think I add that. I think so. So let's see what they are bringing.
Sorry, Silverstone is that not around? Let me even see again. Silverstone should be around. Isn't that up around 10?
So maybe. I'm not sure.
So,
So let me check.
so they are hoping that by okay, so yeah, around 11 they'll be able to compete in full force. Okay,
So wait, yeah. So let's see.
impressive. Um, anyway, Zach Brown has been speaking recently, saying you know, that he's not worried about his drivers pairing. He has potential champions, but Zach, the humble truth is that don't give those drivers a good car, you lose those people. So um, I guess hopefully when they bring in their B spec car, if it's coming, um, it will be of positive performance for them as a team. But yeah, Okay. Does anyone still want to chip in on anything?
Hi.
Yeah.
Um. What I want to say is just a thank you to admin and the organizers of this voice I don't know voice Twitter space. Is actually a very great community for us like to get together and talk about like the sport we all love. So thank you very much for the opportunity like of bringing everyone together to talk about this sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tohi. Thank you for joining us and being a part of the community. I guess. Thank you. Okay. I guess we've come to the end of the weekend. Except anyone wants to quickly throw in something, but yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. It's been a well, it's been a, it's good. It's good to be back again after 3 weeks. Unfortunately, we didn't have Imola last week, and yeah, hearts go out to the people or people that reside in Imola. Hopefully they recover from their situations quickly. Oh, sorry, from their present situation quick enough. And move on with their daily lives. But yeah, it's been an interesting not so interesting race due to the usual procession. But I guess hopefully Barcelona will be good for us on next week, and then we'll have more things to talk about. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Have a great week ahead. I know a lot of us don't have work tomorrow, but for those of us that have work, enjoy your Monday. Yeah, wishing everyone a great week, and speak to you next week. Thank you, and God bless you.